Hi, folks. Bob Mannery here. You're listening to A2D Radio, real sports talk radio for the fans, by the fans, no agenda. These guys are the best in the business. Hashtag it. No notes.
What up, fam? Tuesday night, Birds of a Feather coming at you live on A2DRadio.com from the Real Talk Studios. We are live on Twitter, Instagram, Periscope, Facebook, YouTube. Can't check us out right now, but you're checking us out on podcast form. Check us out on iHeartRadio, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iTunes, whatever you call it. Google Play. Am I missing anything, boys?
No, pretty much you can catch us at any streaming media service where you use to listen to your podcast. If you could think of one that we're not there, let us know, because
It might be the first time I got that right on the first
we
shot.
will go ahead and be there within
Progress.
It's
the
like
next week.
It's like my gimmick is to screw up the open and try to get all the. I mean, we're all over the place.
Or
It's
say
hard to
it's
keep
Thursday.
up.
Or say it's Thursday.
Yes.
Listen, this is the only place where this is the voice of the fan. This is where you guys have a voice. Jump in the chats, interact with us, questions, answer the poll questions. We're going to talk to you guys tonight. We're brought to you by Specialized Physical Therapy. Our doctor, Dr. Paul Vidal. You can find him in Burlington, Cherry Hill, in Princeton, New Jersey. Find him on the web, specializedphysicaltherapy.com. No appointment necessary. Our doc, he's the man who you can also hear on Sunday nights when he calls in to agree to disagree. You get a lot of good stuff from the doc. Check him out. Also brought to you by Ambuck Services. You need gutter guards, gutter cleaning, tree trimming, deck restoration, installation. You name it, they do it, guys. They're the best. You give them a call. Let them know A2D sent you. You get 10% off. All services there. Check them out, ambuckservices.com. Our topic of conversation is brought to you by the best tailgating game in the business. We freaking love it. We play it here in the studio. We're already trying to figure out ways that we can implement this into some fun stuff. It's QB54. 54. You use the promo code No Notes, get you 20% off. Check them out on playqb54.com. Get in there, purchase. I'm telling you guys, it's a blast. It is a freaking blast.
54.
You guys are creepy.
That's the point.
And that topic of conversation that QB54 is bringing to you is the Eagles should trade up for Henry Ruggs. Agree, disagree. That's our first half topic. In the first half, we're going to cover the Combine recap. We're going to talk any concerns with Andre Dillard, particularly now that we're talking about getting younger. We're bringing back a 39-year-old. 37, whatever. He's like 40.
It's a big some bitch right there. So
I thought 38, but maybe that's
by the time the season
by the time
starts.
yeah.
I knew it was like
Something like that.
Yeah.
Late 30s.
Late 30s. We're talking about bringing him back. We're going to get into that conversation. And then we're going to have a couple other topics that we're going to talk on the other side. Chrome, Kevin Godwin, Pete Evans, the Chuckser is here live with you guys. And let's hear it. What are we doing, guys? Are we trading up? We got Ralphie Delavecchio on the ones and twos. Yeah. We got the Godfather over here behind the camera, checking things out. He wanted a front row view of the conversation. He wanted to see the Chuckser live and in color.
How's the pinky, bud?
Soft. Oh, and
Pinky game strong.
And let's send out good vibes too, guys. We got Ralphie Delavecchio on the ones and twos. We need a 48-point Shake Milton night tonight. We need Michigan State to lose right now to Penn State, kick his night off the right way, and then let's really dig the knife in, and let's get an actual win on the road against a team we have no business being in the game. Ralphie might jump off the wall.
I just need Horford to hit open shots. That's all. And Shake to give me 40.
I need anybody to hit open shots.
50.
81. 81 for.
I was saying earlier about Shake. It's like it's weird because I could definitely see that this guy has the talent there. Now, he's not going to put up 30-plus points, almost 40 points a night. But I almost compare him to a guy who, like, could emerge out of nowhere because the talent is there. Is almost like a Rajah Bell type of guy who kind of came up he had a cup of coffee with the Sixers, and he showed that he had a little bit of game there. Then obviously became a different player when he went to Phoenix. But I feel like this kid could be an unspoken key to the depth of this team, particularly with a playoff run. He's shown a lot of the flashes throughout the year. Obviously, he had a huge game the other day. We're not going crazy about it, but I think that he has hit the radar for people because they could see the talent that's in him. I know we're off topic, but I just had to throw that in there.
Just real quick first half, no huddle on that. You look at his shot, his release from last year compared to this year. It's faster. It's faster, it's quicker twitch. And what that does now by him hitting that shot is he's not the fastest with his feet as far as quickness and blowing by you. But now, hey, Ben, guess what happens when you hit a fucking couple jumpers? Motherfuckers play up on you. So guess what? That little 4.2 Henry Ruggs speed, you can get away with having a little 4.8, 4.6.
4.2 Henry Ruggs speed.
You know what I mean? You can still go ahead and get by somebody now because guess what? They got to respect your jumper. So we see that.
So your answer to the poll is agree then.
Great segue.
Well, go ahead, Pete, kick it off.
Yeah, but see, that's kind of the thing. It's like
Go ahead.
I remember Friday. Was it Friday night? Friday night is when the wide receivers ran, right?
Thursday night.
Thursday night?
Yeah.
So Thursday night, when I'm going through my ordeal, people, and I had the fam in spirit with me because I really had nothing left inside of me at that point.
Literally.
But fam,
Nothing left.
But fam, I had the spirit with me. So I'm texting. I'm like, I love the fact that Ruggs ran this fast and he's disappointed because I remember saying he's going to go ahead of Judy now. Which, listen, don't get me wrong. Henry Ruggs, 5'11", strong, 200 pounds, 4.27, maybe true 4.22. Great. I'll take 4.45 Jerry Judy, somebody that can run the routes and break your ankles and get open and do it all. He's shown me more versatility than Henry Ruggs. And with this speed and who can get off of press coverage, I'm not saying Henry Ruggs cannot, but let that be everybody else. Let him be the darling of the ball. Give me the guy. Give me the black dude who's wearing the David Star on his chest. Talking about Jerry the Jew and Jews. And nobody saying he's a weird cat though. Like Jerry Judy's a weird cat.
I don't care.
But catch the damn ball. So in that,
that's fine.
we don't need to trade up for Henry Ruggs at all. I if he's there, he's there. I want his hype to get so high that Judy just
Balls.
I'll catch you, Judy. Just like that. Or the pool in Vegas will catch him. And he won't catch a cramp. All right. Chucks, go ahead.
All right. So to piggyback on what you said.
Over to Chucks.
Piggyback on what you said. Remember, Brodo's not here. But no, because the reason why I say Brodo is because he asked before, like, Judy's going to be the first wide receiver taken. And I told him, don't be surprised. Even though I love Judy, don't be surprised because there are some people that like Lamb ahead of Judy. And then now you get people, you get the NFL, like whenever someone runs a 4.2, a wide receiver, they fall head over heels for them.
Yep.
And they John Ross, who was it? The returner 10 years ago, Miami drafted him.
Ted Ginn Jr.
Thank you.
He's still in the league.
Yeah. So like they fall in love with these guys, and I get it, but. I love Ruggs. I think he's not just a speed guy.
No, he's not.
He's not. He runs routes also, like great route runner, and he has good hands. So he's really improved as an all-around wide receiver. So he's worthy of a first-round pick. However, I do see what you're saying, and I think that is a very realistic possibility. I think that don't be surprised at all. Come draft day, Thursday, day one, if someone takes Lamb first, and then goes Ruggs, and then you see Judy start to fall. Now, to answer the poll question, I would trade up for any of those three wide receivers if they fall within striking distance. Anything like striking distance is around 15-ish. I think if they get to around that area, you're within striking distance. Go up and get them. Anything higher than that, we were talking about 12, 11, 10 range, no, that's going to be too much. I think
Right.
like 15-ish is like your max. So if they start to fall that way, and then Howie starts to make these phone calls and seeing that that's he's the one striking this to get them, get any one of whichever one of those three starts to fall. So that I agree kind of to the poll, but only if it's to that point. If one of the three top receivers falls to around 15.
Kevin?
Yeah, I disagree either way. I don't think you move up. I think there's too many other holes within the team.
You ain't worried about my team's holes, man.
He
I
ain't
think-
wrong.
Someone's got to worry about holes.
If you've got 12 picks and you've got
wrong.
10 picks.
a bunch of positions
10
to
picks.
take a look at, 10 picks regardless.
Before
I
10
wish it was
picks.
12 picks.
before the
Well, Patriots have
compensatory
13.
picks.
That's what I was looking
Huh?
I said before
So-
the compensatory picks come out.
So
10 after.
I thought did
10
they already
after.
come out?
No, but it's projected with the comp picks.
Oh,
is 10.
okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
As you were, Kevin.
Yeah, go ahead, Kev.
So regardless, 10, 12 picks, whatever it might be, I don't think you move up because there's too many other spots to look at. I think you almost look at you trading back on players and getting
Oh
some
hell
more
no!
picks for
I'm about to throw my headset.
not out of the first. Not out of the first, but I'm talking about you've got 3 4s that you could trade on players, you could trade back, you
Right.
could because they also do
How many-
like their undrafted guys too. So you have to there's a lot of different spots you can go to. I don't think there's enough to move up because you're going to hurt yourself someplace else.
Right.
So for me, it's a no.
Okay.
But I think it all changes based on what they do Alshon pre-draft.
So
I will say that.
I appreciate your conservative approach to the Eagles situation, but there is this thing called free agency before. So some of those holes will get filled during free agency. That's what Howie did state.
But they might make more if you're talking about
How do you?
trading.
It's just money.
If you're talking about trading out Alshon, that's another receiver.
Well, listen,
so you're
he-
not going to draft. You're not going to have 2 rookies.
He's hurt.
start.
He's not giving me shit anyway for half the year.
Regardless, that's still a spot. Yeah, that's still a starter
Him-
that you're going to have to
him-
fill. You're not
him-
going to draft 2 rookies to play in those spots because you already can't start
no,
Jay
true.
Jaw from last year.
True, but say if they go out and like we're hearing, they do sign Byron Jones or James Bradbury. I think they're going to be sneaky as well and sign a linebacker. So, and obviously, we're not trading. I can see if it was one player to trade up for, like Bryce Blackwell said in the YouTube chat, go give me Simmons. You know what I mean? He's a whole different animal.
He's going like top 10, though.
Yeah, but he's a positionless player, so that's somebody different. So when you look at free agency, if they go get, and they may still sign a wide receiver on the cheap. You know, if you're looking at Byron Jones giving him $16 to $17 million a year, you can go get Nick Kwiatkowski, linebacker from Chicago, pay him $3 or $4 million. Give him Nigel Bradham money. Fuck, now Nigel Bradham can't find a deal. Guess what he got to do? Come back, and now he's making $1 to $2 million. And then you can go get a Bashard Perryman or somebody like that.
There you go.
And then at that point, your number 1 pick is a freaking luxury at that point. Now, would it be in a position to turn this around on you? Your team has 13 picks.
Yes, we do.
You have a fucking wide receiver.
Well, we do have 2 wide receivers. We've got
Good ones.
We've got one then. It comes
What's the
down to
name?
one.
What's
We
the
got,
name?
we got Edelman. That's about it. The slottiest
He's too worried about jumping on cars.
No, I think that the
What's that? 77? Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, what? I missed it.
7 catches to 40 catches.
Oh, you're talking about
For 1,100 yards. And
Oh yeah, stats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and 10 touchdowns and 7 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Same team. So somebody can tell me, well, Tua liked him better. Good for Tua. That just means he's better.
Right.
That's what that means. So it's like these 2 aren't even comparable to me.
Judy.
I'm not saying Ruggs won't be good.
Right.
Jerry Judy's the best route runner since Marvin Harrison.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is.
So if you're going to go up for any of these guys and fill a need like that, it's for one guy.
Yeah.
So if you got to give up essentially 5 picks over a few years to get a guy that
Is
can
the
deliver,
guy.
Is the guy like
and
Judy?
if it's not him and they see it being somebody else, fine. But then go get your guy and call it that. That's how
Yeah.
Okay, your guy. Yeah,
Go
I
get your guy,
think
call it that.
that's the point that like I want to piggyback off of is that like I want to because I get your point and I'm not even opposed to waiting on a wide receiver. Like I think that when you look at Howie, if they like a guy, if they want a guy, and if they see whether it be Ruggs or Judy or Lamb, and they see one of them fall within striking distance, I have no problem trading up and go get him. If they like him that much and they think like, oh, this is a top 10 player and overall in our board, and they're falling this far, and they want to get them, go get them. But I am not opposed to what you're saying is, okay, like, it's wide receiver. This class is so deep of wide receiver. You're talking about, like, you're talking about, like, on day 2, you could get a first-round talent.
Denzel Mims.
You can get Mims. I like Hamler. I like Reagor. I like Justin Jefferson still. Maybe not at 21, but
we've been hearing that a lot.
A lot. I don't like him as much as the hype. I don't like him as much as the hype. But I see what you're saying, and I'm not opposed to what you say. I'm just saying that, like, it depends on how they see these wide receivers.
Yeah.
And
how they see the position.
And how they see the position.
And the need for the position.
My issue is with the Eagles especially and the NFL in general, your cards are on the table. If you have an abundance of picks, if it's 10 picks,
right,
and somebody knows that you're calling to take that guy, they're going to say, okay, give me 5 of them. Then you almost
not always necessarily the case.
No,
if you're a team that is, let's face it, they're not in the bottom 15 for no reason.
Right.
They've got, if not more holes to fill than the Eagles do, being down that low. If they put them in a losing season position, they're going to say, okay, well, I need to backfill my talent pool if I'm not going to get a guy like Ruggs. So give me everything you got.
No,
and I'm going to shoot.
No.
They're not going to do that because if that was their mindset, no team would trade up.
No, ever.
Yeah, ever. No team would ever
be
trade
never
up.
any trades.
There's a balance of like, okay, like.
I mean, I get it that there's balance.
If you're also a team that needs the picks, you're going to be like, okay, give me something reasonable. I'm not going to, because if they ask for too much, they're going to get the phone hung up on them.
I'm not saying that they're going to overshoot it and blow it out the water, saying, "Hey, give me every pick." I'm saying that I don't want the Eagles. I don't want the Eagles to
give me everything you got. Wasn't that what he said?
They're going
to
to be.
Give me everything you got.
I mean, as far as they're going to shoot it as high as they think the Eagles will go, and my fear is that the Eagles are going to buy into that and leave themselves with nothing else to draft.
Well, I don't think the Eagles are going to buy into nothing because the Eagles are going to do what they do, and they're going to trade out of the first round probably to get more picks later.
That would suck for the draft reaction show, by the way.
And I'll tell you right.
I know, right?
And listen, I mean, you guys said it yourselves. The day 2 is filled, or round 2 is going to be filled with talent anyway. I don't see them trading up for the wide receiver position at this point when there's going to be deep talent in the second round. If they trade up, I don't know what position it would be for. If they trade up, it would be for something. I don't see them trading up. I see them trading down and acquiring more, particularly if there is a vision that they want to start building through the draft. They could acquire picks for future drafts as well in order to do so. So to me, the logic of this team, and if it's a true direction that they're going in, if their guy is not there at 21, I see this team trading back out of the first round to get more assets.
That's true.
To give themselves more to work with in the years to come.
Right. Question.
I'm going to say disagree because I don't believe that for the wide receiver with how deep the class is this year, they need to trade up for anybody.
Give me Hamler.
I completely disagree with that because Judy is a different animal, and Lamb is a different animal altogether. I like KJ Hamler. I like Denzel Mims. I like Brandon Ayuk. I can go on and on and on. Yeah, like he's just you're talking about the next like Julio-esque player. You know what I mean? So that's a different stratosphere of wide receiver. But I will say this. So 2 things. If they don't sign a wide receiver in free agency of any meaning, and they fill kind of everything else, not fill, but they kind of address everything else. They go out and they get a corner.
Then they go back to back. They're going back to
yes.
back. They are absolutely
because those picks don't mean shit, especially if they have 3 4s. So free agency for the Eagles will definitely tell us something. This is the biggest offseason for the Eagles that I can easily remember. But 2, you have to ask yourself this.
Super Bowl year.
We went up last year to go get Dillard, okay? Now, you kind of been hearing everything with him as far as possible trades, but like Chuck said, we're at 21. If Judy's on the board at like 13, 14, 15, I don't think it's going to cost you that much. And I'll caution you this. Look at what the Bears gave up to go at one spot to get Mitchell Trubisky. There was 2 other trades in that draft in the first round for 2 other quarterbacks that are better than him. And people look at what Andy Reid gave up for Pat Mahomes. All it takes is 2. It takes that right team to go ahead and say, you know what, and be realistic. because they're not drafting a wide receiver, and they know you want to come up. So give us another 2 and give us a 2 next year.
Keep in mind, there is an actual, I don't know what it is.
That whole
There's an
value
actual
shit,
value
yeah.
chart. The value of top 5, top 10 picks are exponentially greater. I'm talking about exponentially greater once you get past like the top 10.
Yeah.
That's why when you talk about teams trading into that top 5, the top 10, that's why they always say, oh.
If they're not falling back and the Eagles don't
forget
move up,
forget it. That's fine.
what about moving back?
Was in this draft, Cooper Kupp ass would get drafted in the fucking 4th round.
I'm saying guys like that on teams that have multiple receivers. I have there's a couple guys that could be names out there that could
Sure.
could
You
go.
talking about in the draft?
No,
No,
he's
no,
talking
no, no,
about
no.
that's already raw.
If somebody
yeah,
wants,
if that's
if Ruggs is gone, top 10.
right.
If somebody else jumps up ahead of him and you're still sitting at 21 and somebody either behind you or somebody that wants to get back in at 21, if they call and say, hey, we've got this receiver, is there anybody out there that you...
That was trade for the 21st pick?
Yeah.
It depends.
Cleveland.
To me,
Give me OBJ for the 21st pick.
OBJ. I would take OBJ.
I
Like,
mean, that's not hard. Yeah.
It depends. It really depends on what they're asking for, who's available at that time, at that position in the draft, and what they're willing to give. Like
How the board plays out,
Open,
yeah.
I'm open to your offer, but I can't say yes or no unless I know all the circumstances.
Because my thing is, if you make a trade like that, which is very possible, if you're not going to get who you want, if you could take a 3-4 year veteran, then that means that you're not going to draft a receiver necessarily 2nd round. You're going to wait another couple rounds because you're not necessarily anymore looking for a day 1 starter.
No, not necessarily. It depends what they do in free agency.
You look.
Right.
See, I don't want. I'm not looking at starters or bench players. I'm just looking at talent, and their talent pool is just depleted when it comes to the wide receiver position. So I don't care if they can go the first 3 rounds with a wide receiver. I'll be happy.
Let's hit the fam here, guys. I'm going to hit the Facebook. You guys get to YouTube. Tom Arnone, Big Dad over there, says, let's talk about it. David Roscoe, what's up, boys? What's cooking? Randy Orton is not the best heel in the business. It's Brock Lesnar. Lakers will be a new NBA champions this year on 10 and 20 years. I don't know what the hell that means, Ralphie.
That's Roscoe language.
That must be Crumb Laker talk, Ralphie.
I
I don't know if he's a Lakers or a Clippers fan tonight, Roscoe. I don't know. Is he an Angels or Dodgers fan tonight? Who knows? He might be a Sacramento Kings fan.
Chargers
I
or
don't fucking know.
Rams? Well, what are we doing? What are we doing here?
John Coyle says, I disagree. If you can somehow stay at 21 and get Jefferson, then that's the play.
Ugh.
Ricky
Gotta
Galone
ask
says,
you that
no
later.
CD Lamb. Jerry's got some catching issues. He also says he'll be around for round 2 talking
That's okay.
to John about Jefferson.
Now all of a sudden it's a red flag. It's
Lamb.
for Judy's.
Andy Ritter says, have a great show,
Told
you
you.
dirty crumbs. You suck, but I love you, Andy. Tom says, I'm excited to see how this team shapes up. He also says all great wide receivers have something wrong with them.
not
And
right.
talking about JJ says best route runner since Marvin, which we heard him in the background over here.
Yep.
Ricky Galone says, first of all, Jake Friel says no, he won't. Talking, I'm guessing about Jefferson being around the 2nd round. Somebody said earlier.
No.
Oh no, he wouldn't be there 2nd round. Yeah, Jake is an LSU fan.
Ricky thinks that he could see that. Tom, the same numbers he threw out there with the catch, 77-40. Frank, hey, yo, sorry to bother you at work. To answer the poll, there's a lot of talent at 21. If they would like to trade up, Howie can't get too cute. Ruggs can land in the mid-teens, but there's a lot of depth in wide receiver if we can't snag him.
If Rugg is in the mid-teens and they don't make a move, I'm flipping shit. Especially if Judy's off the board at
Like
that
if
point.
once he gets to like 15.
One of them is going to be in the mid-teens. I'm guaranteeing that part. Which one it is, I don't know.
Yeah, we don't know. We really don't know.
But if they get that close, I'm okay with trading up for either one of them. Give me the fucking Alabama leftover.
You know what they're going to do? They're going to trade up, and we're going to be like, oh, my God, they're actually going to do it, and then they're going to take like a fucking tackle or something like that.
Speaking of tackle,
tackle.
They're gonna draft like Lane's replacement for like 5 years from now.
I would
sit
laugh
him.
so much.
Danny
Look at Tom's
Watkins
face.
2.0.
Oh my god. Oh my.
Do you know what this team does?
Oh my god.
that's
Dillard can't
that.
play. Dillard can't play.
Oh no, Dillard's gonna be there. Dillard's going to be there. They're
That's
going
our
to
next
draft.
topic. That's our next topic. We'll get there.
They're going to
So-
draft. They're going to draft now for Lane's replacement 5 years from now.
But that's my whole point. With your whole sentiment about what this team does is why during the season I'm like,
I was totally
okay,
kidding about that.
You feel
one,
what I'm saying?
Wyatt.
But it's just like, no, you're not. You're kind of serious.
You say I'm not because you could see it possibly actually happening.
Yes. Trade it back. But on the YouTube side, you don't. We still got more.
Couple more real quick. Jake says Claypool is an interesting name in the 3rd round.
No. God, stop.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Parker says, can we draft Ruggs on the Sixers too? LOL.
Did you see that? Did you see that windmill dunk? Oh my God.
Yeah.
Greg
I think the
says
Sixers need him more than the Eagles.
Greg disagrees to the poll. He says if he's there at 21, yes. If not, oh well. Best player available: quarterback, wide receiver, defensive end.
Did you say quarterback or corner?
Cornerback.
Okay, I'm about to say Greg.
Thanks for coming, Greg.
Greg. I want to say Greg.
That Crump should just put coach there.
Parker says, but if we could draft, we could find the next OBJ, but we can't develop shit. By picking up a big name with a trade, you acquire large salaries. There's a less flamboyant, equally talented OBJ out there that you can develop. Kevin was talking in here. Ross was talking about Brock Lesnar. Eileen Pompey, what's up?
Hey!
She says, agree, whatever happens, happens. Lots of media hype.
She was referring to Tom Brady.
Parker
leaving the
says, if you don't draft Ruggs top
You
10 after the
speak for-
basketball
you speak
video,
for Eileen.
I don't know what to tell you. Says the basketball video shows hands and explosives that gets lost on the football field. That's it. That's all I got for the,
Cool.
the book.
So
You got this one?
So you Ali finish each other's sentences now. Okay.
Sandwiches. Finish each other's sandwiches.
Hey, that comment was skipped. I had to go back.
Yeah,
and
I
make
just
sure it
want to
was read
know.
out.
I want to know how I get a fan. How do I get a fan club?
You can't.
Do I have to? I can't. So,
There's a 6-month waiting period. You haven't been here long enough.
I'm a fan.
A 6-month and a 6-ring waiting period, I guess.
yeah. So on the
Now that you're
YouTube-
cleaned out freshly, Pete, maybe we can start working on that now.
yes.
Now that we got you cleansed out,
Yes.
we're good.
So on the YouTube side, we just got Jalen Williams in here saying, "What's up, fam? What's up, Jalen?
What's up, Jalen?
Jalen.
You know, Bryce is in there talking about trade up, but he wants to trade up for Isaiah Simmons 4.2. I mean, yeah, he's a stud, man, but this team just does not value the defensive side like that, and it may come back to bite him.
He's not going to be within reach. There's
Yeah.
no way we can get him.
Remember those
He's
excellent
gonna be
that
10.
value chart we were talking about? What's actually weighted so much heavier? He'll go in one of those picks.
Yeah,
And
he's
I
not
just
going
can't
to
see
fall.
that.
Yeah, no.
So and then Eddie Sanchez says he would like the Eagles to draft C.D. Lamb. Would you guys want the Eagles to get Byron Jones?
Yes.
Byron Jones, yes, thumbs
Yes.
up. And C.D. Lamb, yes. I mean, he is
Whichever one falls.
Yeah, whichever one.
Whichever
It's
one
like-
falls of those three, I will
Yeah,
take.
it's not. I don't think. But you're splitting hairs at that point between the three of them. In my point. And then Bryce is right. We got to knock this offseason out of the park.
Absolutely.
This
And
is
then
this is a big offseason for Howie.
yes.
Huge.
Yeah, and it says Jalen says it depends on what we have to give up. If I have to give up a second, then I say no. But if Ruggs is there at 16 and it takes a third, they move up. Okay, whatever dream world or scenario that is to go from 21 to 16 and just swapping picks and giving up a third, sign me up right now. I sign
to
in blood.
swap and then just give up a third.
I sign
yeah.
in blood right now.
Absolutely.
You may have to give up a second and maybe have to give up a third and a second the next following year. I can see something like that being a scenario. And he said have the next year first too. And then, TA says best route runner since Marvin, go get Jerry Jeudy. And we got Todd Womack in here saying Philly Dilly guys.
Philly
Howie-
Dilly.
And he said Howie has strike one with me and AJ. He has strike one with me AJ for a fourth. I would take that all day. And he says there's talks on the Colts taking a wide receiver when they need a QB. I mean, we can trade them Alshon and a fifth and make them go bye-bye. And
they need a QB, but I mean, they're going to end up.
they'll probably trade for Foles.
I think they could.
Yeah, they could.
They could. I could see it.
Cap space.
Wait, who?
Trade for
this?
Foles.
Who?
Colts.
What team?
Colts.
Colts. Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Yeah. And I said
I think that's where
I don't-
Philip
That's
Rivers
within
is
the
gonna
division, though. That's the only
I
thing
think
that holds
Philip
it back.
Rivers will probably fall into there, but
Yeah. In LA.
I mean, really though, it's within the division, but it's Nick Foles. Like I'm just going to be the guy to say.
Very
it. Like,
true.
It's not like
very, very
it's
true.
not. It's not like we're trading like, and I'll say his name. It's not like we're trading Dak Prescott from the Cowboys
Yeah.
to the fucking Giants,
Redskins
like,
around, yeah.
or the Redskins.
Very
like,
true,
It's,
yes.
it's
You
a
can-
whole different conversation
Very
with
true.
Nick
you can
Foles.
go get the Indy special. You know what I mean?
Yes.
The Indy special. So
Absolutely.
to lead to our next topic, when we're talking about trading up, that leads me to Andre Dillard.
Wait, hold on. Before you
Go
get
ahead.
there, we were talking real quick about Justin Jefferson.
Yes.
Yes or no at 21? Okay, while you think,
Or do you
this
take
is my stance. Justin Jefferson, for me, he's like a Keenan Allen but faster. He's very good route technician. Probably one of the best in the draft behind Jerry Jeudy. Love him. Good hands. Great from the slot. So he would be an absolute weapon for the Eagles. He would be an awesome acquisition. However, I went to the combine. Before the combine, my grade on him was a second round. A lot of people were like, "How are you gonna do second round?" Because to me, he's not versatile in terms of you can't plug him in at any spot in the field, and he's limited athletically. Like, yeah, he ran a 4.4. Okay, I get that, but on tape, he doesn't play that fast. Right. He doesn't play as fast as 4.4, and he's not as twitchy as you would like out of a first round pick. All right, so you're talking about that. I gave him a second round grade. His combine was great, whatever, but I still, to me, the highest I would go was early second.
Yeah.
So for me, I am out on Jefferson at 21, and also if the Eagles don't, to what we were alluding to before, if they don't get a deep threat in free agency and they go into the draft without a deep threat, there's no way I'm taking Jefferson.
No, exactly.
Jefferson at 21. Like, you have to get a speedster guy.
Yeah. So,
I mean, I think at that point at 21, if they don't move up and those three guys come off the board, I am kind of with Greg as far as those three positions. Whoever best available is,
best
quarterback,
available,
defensive end, wide receiver, you take. Doesn't matter who it is. There's no focus.
Just best available.
Best available. If he's the best available at that point on the board, then you take him.
Next best available. For Jefferson, second round for me as well. At that point, if I'm looking at 21 and it's none of those three, and I know he had a shitty combine because he put on too much bulk, I would be looking at Jalen Reagor at 21. Somebody that can play outside fast, has power, has strength, has speed, has quick twitch. You can put him in the slot as well. When you said slot with me and you talked about Jefferson, that's where I'm out. I'm not looking for that at 21.
People think he can play flank at Z.
Right.
He could, but that's not his strong point.
But that's not.
He's a slot.
He's master in the slot. His name is escaping me, but there's a kid from SMU who caught everything in the fucking world.
Van Jefferson? I don't think it's SMU. But
it was a kid from I can't remember his name.
Go ahead.
But the kid from SMU who caught everything has good hands. Somebody like that in the slot I could take.
In the slot, yeah. No, I hear you. I just, to your Reagor point, I like Reagor, but not enough for a 21. And that's where I think I go.
But they could swap at 25 with somebody like
what he was saying. If
trading
you start
out of the first round, no. I'm cool with trading back. You got to pick on day one.
Yeah.
You got to pick on day one.
To like 29, 30, 31,
yes.
That you trade back to around that range, and then you select. Like, to me, that range I would understand. Jefferson. I would prefer KJ Hamler. I have him ranked higher than Reagor.
Right.
I really do. I just his play speed jumps off the charts in terms of like how fast he plays. Like, you compare him and Reagor, like the play speed of Hamler is so much better, and he's much more agile, much more quick. The only thing he doesn't have is the size and like contested catchability that Reagor has, but Hamler has way better movement skills, and he has better effort. Like, he's a better competitor than Reagor has. Reagor has reps where his effort isn't always is sometimes in question. He doesn't always play the whole rep, the whole down. So give me Reagor, who has fight in him, even though he's 5'9", 180. Like, he has absolute dog. He's a dog, and he fights, and I love that attitude in him. So I would trade back. What Kevin said, late first, I would grab Hamler.
Because didn't he put up the bench like 15 or 18
15 pounds.
15 times, right?
180, and he put up 15 pounds.
15 reps at 225.
Yeah.
That's more than me and Ralphie can do right now combined.
Anthony Adis says Eagles should trade their first-round pick to get more picks. He believes they should trade down.
So that leads me to Dillard. We heard the rumor because J.C. Peters is non-committal about not coming back or coming back. Then on top of that, we heard what Howie said where he was on the fence. That's a trade piece. So if you're looking at 14 to get up there to guarantee yourself Jerry Jeudy or Henry Ruggs, okay, we'll swap. I'll give you Andre Dillard, first-round talent, second-round pick, third-round pick. There you go. That's your value right there. And this is only because I agree. Dillard didn't have the greatest rookie year, but some of the positions he was put in. They
were moving him around a lot.
He was asked to do wasn't truly fair to him. You know what I mean? Especially the game where he had to play right tackle the first Seattle game, and saying, like, I haven't played right tackle since high school.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, what do you expect to happen?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So, but if he has value, he has value. And if they're sure that they're not going to keep him here, and especially if Jason Peters is coming back, I throw this novel idea at you as well. So if their sole purpose is to look at value and assets, right? And they can look at Dillard. That's one of the higher assets. We always talk about this and moving up. And say you still want to move on from Jason Peters. How would this fan base feel if they re-sign Holly Pulivati Vata?
Hang me.
Why?
No.
He was your starting left tackle in the Super Bowl. Am I right or wrong?
That's the best you ever got out of him.
But he played after that one game. He was a turnstile.
I'm good. I've been there. I've done that. I'm good.
He's at best a backup.
Okay. But I was just throwing it out there. I'm not 2 feet in that and on that side of the argument.
Yeah, you are.
I'm just looking at versatility.
I am backing up from the ledge. I am backing up from the ledge. I'm saying caution. I do not want to go near that.
Now, where are they at as far as talks on Peters coming back?
It's up to him.
Up to who? Peters?
I think it's up because he has the ear of Jeffrey Lurie so well. I think it's truly up to him whether or not he wants to play.
Because for me, there's another guy out there that hasn't really been brought up. I mean, as far as the position goes, no one's really said if Peters doesn't come back, how do you add that depth piece in there if it's not Dillard as a starter or not? But Jack Conklin is a free agent from the Titans. And you're paying him about the same as Peters, but he's healthy. He played all last year coming off the ACL, all-pro type year.
If Brady's going there, they're not getting rid of Conklin.
Well, Brady's not going there, so
Oh, my God.
He's going to the Raiders.
No, I think he's going to Tennessee.
no.
I think all that Carrier Dome and him FaceTiming with Julian and Mike Vrabel. Look at the offense they got. They got the running game. They got a no nonsense.
He's going to be
defense.
in Oakland. They're going to have his. Or,
And
I'm
it's the
sorry, in
AFC.
Vegas. He's going to be in Vegas. They're going to have his fucking face all over the strip,
Why-
baby.
I think he still wants to win though. Why would you go to the AFC West with the defending Super Bowl champions? We can go to the AFC South.
Or here's an idea. You stay in New England
Oh God.
Oh my God.
Wait, no.
and get another
Nope.
No.
Nope.
All week on our chat, you've been like, no.
No.
It's better to get rid of Brady.
No, I didn't say it was better. I said
No.
I said that if I
This is
said
like the
I'd
Josh
rather rip
Gordon
it off.
thing all over
No,
again.
I'd rather rip it off like a Band-Aid. If he's not going to come back, I'd
He's
rather it
not.
happen sooner than later because I'd rather bring in a quarterback right now that's going to grow with our already young receivers that we have coming in. I don't want it strung along. I don't want another veteran brought in. I want a younger quarterback brought in. And now, to me, looking at it, the Patriots standpoint, is the best time to move on from him and not bring him back. Not saying I don't want him back, but it may be better off.
He don't want to
long-term.
be back. If he wanted to be back, it would be over with by now.
I don't think it's about necessarily.
I think the
him and
more
the team.
time,
It's the other pieces.
Time
there.
is not
I
on
think
your
the
side
more
of the
time
argument
that goes,
that he's coming back.
I feel like the more that this drags out, the worse off it is for the Patriots.
I don't think he'll sign until later in free agency because he's going to wait to see what pieces are where first. Who am I throwing to?
That's what I'm
Is
saying.
He's going to wait for.
Well,
He
there's
saw-
teams
he-
that's already set though.
yeah,
He
saw
is
Tennessee
set.
beat them right there in Foxborough.
Yeah, but they didn't beat us throwing the ball.
How funny would this be that they swap quarterbacks?
You didn't beat anyone throwing the ball
I
this
don't
year.
think Tannehill's going to end up there.
Well, we had no one to throw
I'm just
to.
saying.
That's Tom's issue. He said, "Get me
He
someone to throw
has
to."
Ty, they re-signed Ty J. Sharp. He has Corey Davis. Then he has A.J. Brown. He has Delaney Walker. They has Jonnu Smith.
No, I'm going to wish the worst things on the Patriots. They're going to end up with fucking Jameis Winston. Watch. I'm wishing that on you so
I
badly.
sure hope so.
All the years that you've had to enjoy,
I
you
swear to God,
deserve a fucking
happens,
downswing.
if that happens, I will egg all of your houses personally.
No, he won't. He will become an Eagles fan. We're gonna bring him over to the good side.
No, never happen.
What do you think, Ralph? Yeah. Ralph, that's cold, Ralph. He didn't even break a sweat. He just, no, it's fine.
But I don't, circling back to the whole Dillard thing, like, part of me, and I think we talked about this a little bit last week, I still don't fully believe
Right.
in the whole we are going to bring back Peters thing. I think a lot of the talk, because out of the press conference, Doug Peterson was saying that he was the one that said, oh, I want to, we'd be out. Yeah, I'm back on. Doug Peterson in the press conference. Doug Peterson in the press conference.
Thank you.
There you go.
Thank you.
Inside
In his
voices.
press conference, Doug Peterson was the one that says, "Oh yeah, I'd love to have him back." But then Howie Roseman was like more non-committal than Doug.
Yeah.
To me, I think that's just Doug paying respects to Peters, and out of a veteran who's been here, a future Hall of Famer, he's just being respectful and saying that kind of stuff. I think it's just talk. So I don't fully believe that it's a full blown okay, we are definitely bringing him back.
Right.
However, if we're gonna play devil's advocate and if we're gonna look at this, and if there is now, you're assuming if that is the case, if they want to bring him back and they have that interest, you're assuming they want to bring him back because they feel that Andre Dillard is not ready. Everyone agree with that? Yeah. So if that is the case, and they feel like Andre Dillard is not ready, am I concerned at that point? What does my concern level over Dillard become? For me personally,
I'm not concerned.
I'll say this. I'm not surprised because when Dillard was picked last year, if you remember, I had said Dillard to me is not the best tackle available.
Right.
He was, to me, he's not a first round tackle. He's a second round guy because of his issues with power at the point of attack and because of his learning curve that he has. And all throughout, but I was like, okay, I'm okay with the pick because I understand where the Eagles are coming from, and plus they have Jeff Stoutland, so this is a perfect situation for him. But as we've seen, don't forget during training camps, there were stories about him crying at practices because he got into altercations with Derek Barnett, and apparently that wasn't the only time.
So are you saying he's soft?
People have said, reporters have said that he is mentally, he is not the most mentally tough dude. And, even on the field, that kind of shows. On the field, when he was playing, yeah, he had his good points, but he was getting overpowered by guys. There was this one rep where I forget who it was against. I think it was against Seattle. It might have been, I don't remember exactly which team, but against
That's
one
when the
rep,
game he
he got
played right
pancaked on a screenplay. He got pancaked on his ass by someone. So, he's not the most mentally or physically tough guy out there. And those are all concerns that I had about the draft pick. So, my concern would not be, I wouldn't be overly concerned, but that stems from the fact that I'm not surprised. And I think we have to kind of realize that looking back on his performances, people were raving and pushing him like, oh, now he has to be a star. We had a debate on here on Birds of a Feather. Brodo was all for he has to be the star. You can't put Jason Peters back. And when I brought up the fact that, no, Dillard has had issues with power and anchoring.
Minnesota game?
Everything. And I'm not even counting the games where he had to sit in, we had to come in the middle of the game. I don't count that, and I don't count the Seattle game where he was at right tackle. I'm counting the other games. He had issues with power, very, very much so, and they were concerning. And to say that he performed better in those few games than Peters had up to that point is not true.
Peters
wasn't bad. So I think that's where this whole thing.
He played well in the second half.
So
he definitely got stronger as the season.
Yeah, so that's where this whole thing comes from. And we're circling back. People are now shocked and concerned about Dillard, where I'm like, guys, this isn't anything new. This really shouldn't be anything new when it comes to Dillard. And if you really watched him and you took off the bias on, eyeglasses and didn't want to just put him in there because you wanted Jason Peters out, you'd see someone that has been struggling even back in college. So I'm not surprised, and I think that it could be a legit concern, but I'm not going to overreact until it actually happens. You know what I mean?
If it's a concern, do you say, you know what? If the deal's on the table and they're asking for a pick in Dillard, do you do it? If it ensures you Ruggs, Judy, or Lamb.
I mean, if it's out there, then yeah, I would do that deal. Yeah. Especially if you get. If you get to keep your first round pick too and make 2 picks in the first round?
No, there's no way you.
Well, I heard you say that earlier in the second round pick. Maybe I misheard.
Well, yeah. What was the package?
You said earlier Dillard in a second round pick.
Dillard in a second round pick, and maybe a third If they let you, but in that scenario, you're only moving from like 21 to like 18.
Oh, you're saying with the move up? Yeah.
So if you're doing
No,
a pick,
I don't do. I don't know.
If
if
you're
I
No,
doing,
I don't think I
if
do
you're
that.
doing,
I don't give all that up. No.
So if you're doing a pick swap, so like say 17, 21, and Dillard, but you have Ruggs, Judy, or Lamb on the board looking at you, knowing that.
So you give up Dillard and your 21st overall pick to move up and get that.
Yeah.
That's not enough. No, I mean, sorry, that's too much to give up.
Yeah,
like
I don't
because
know that I do that.
because
Really?
even though I have my concerns over
But you're
Dillard,
bringing Peters back, so you get him.
no, regardless, I'm not giving up on Dillard yet. I'm just saying, I personally am saying like Dillard still has promise. It's just taking him time. So that's what's not surprising. So I wouldn't give up a prospect like Dillard.
So
just to
are
move
you
up.
ready for him to start? So at that point, based on what we're saying here, and I love the dialogue here, and fam, I want you to check into YouTube, Facebook,
I got some stuff over here.
YouTube and Facebook, and even Twitter and IG. Definitely want your feedback as we get into this conversation. So from what you're saying, if we're not giving up on Dillard, then that poses the conversation: are we really ready for him to be a backup again? Do we bring Peters back and have him back up Peters again?
Regardless, I think if it's Peters or Dillard, I don't think you. The only way you get rid of either one of them is
Well,
if
Peters
there's-
is a free agent.
So if you don't bring back Peters, you got to bring in somebody. You're not just gonna have Dillard. I don't think you're either gonna draft somebody late or go pick up somebody in free agency. You're not just gonna leave Dillard by himself. Especially with how injuries on the line can be. And if you go out the other side of things, if you go out and you make that trade, who are you going to backfill Dillard with? Especially with other names out there. I don't think the Eagles would do that. I don't think other teams would call the Eagles for Dillard, knowing what else is out there.
I'm honestly at a wait and see as far as Peters goes. I want to see who's going to be available because I feel like between now and then, again, you're talking about trades. We might be able to trade a later round pick and acquire somebody who could fill in for that spot, and you don't need a Jason Peters. Or vice versa. Guys get cut, and you can provide depth that way, and maybe you do throw Dillard in and say, all right, time to shine,
Right.
or time to step out. You're going to have to figure out what this kid has anyway. I don't think they did him a lot of favors with the shifting around and the uncertainty and the lack of commitment. We talked about it last year, regardless of the struggles with power and whatnot. The timing of when Jason Peters comes back, he's stepping in, was really piss poor because he was coming off of 2 or 3 straight really good games,
Right.
including a game with Khalil Mack, where he held Khalil Mack.
He did. He played well against Khalil Mack.
I'm
yes.
saying at that time when they said that, to me, it wasn't a public statement that needed to happen.
Right.
That alone showed a lack of confidence. That alone can even be contributed. That ripple effect can be felt now to the lack of confidence because you've been hearing that stuff last year when a time when you really didn't need to hear it. Sometimes they're too public and too open with the honesty of these things.
Yes.
So I look at it where, at some point we're going to have to see what this kid has. If they choose to go that route, that's fine. If Peters comes back, I'm fine with that. I'd rather, at this point, if it happens, it happens. It's going to happen if they wanted to. If he wants to come back anyway, I would. And it's been said in here. I'm going to read the comments in a minute. I think people aren't opposed to him coming back if he backs up Dillard, and is an option that if Dillard struggles through week 1 and 2, then maybe you go back to Jason Peters. I don't know if he'll accept that role at 37 or 38. I feel like he should be open to accepting that kind of a role.
Yeah.
I
But-
think his pride is too much. He's already said he's not coming back as a backup.
Like, this is one of those things where it's like I don't feel here nor there about it yet because it is very, very early. And I would be more interested. Like, it's a conversation I want to visit down the road. I want to hear if he definitely wants to come back first. Let me hear that
like
from him first.
if he wants to walk away.
Like, let me hear that from him first. Then I can really look at it. But, I mean, it's so non-committal. I don't know how I feel about Dillard right now at this point. I don't really have an opinion either way on it, to be honest with you.
So you're kind of indifferent.
I'm kind of indifferent with it. I
think it's the first time I've ever seen you indifferent.
I just feel that way. I don't know. I mean, it's one of those things I'm kind of like sick of hearing about Jason Peters at this point.
Me too. Like, I feel as if, and Howie said in he's like, maybe sometimes to a fault I've held on to players too long.
So now you're gonna do that.
And
You're
this is
gonna
what
do
we're doing.
exactly the same thing.
Listen, I mean,
Especially
listen.
with knowing what's out there, younger and cheaper.
and listen, sometimes you got to
But-
throw these guys into the fire and see what you have. It's just he's a
Yeah.
first-round talent. You have to see what
Yes.
he has at some point.
That's
I can't continue to coddle this kid.
And
Yeah.
your best coach, arguably on both sides of the ball for a position, is
Jeff
Jeff
Stoutland.
Stoutland.
And the fact that there is a non-commit, almost like a lack of commitment from Howie's end, it just shows you. We've seen it happen with Mike Rowe. You know, Doug goes out there and he
Yeah.
makes these statements. This
Yes.
person's definitely coming back. This person's definitely coming back.
And
this
then,
and that.
boom.
But the only thing that I can really feel in terms of a lot of these decisions that I 100% buy into that comes out of Doug that I think the organization coincides with right now is anything that comes out Press Taylor, because they are obsessed with this guy. For some reason or another, they are. And maybe there's a good reason. But
Yeah.
I feel like that's the one consistency in the offseason that I've heard when it comes to statements that Doug's made and Howie that has seemed to align perfectly where they're in sync. But coaching decisions, personnel decisions, there's still a disconnect there. So that's why I'm indifferent on it, because ultimately to me, Howie's making that decision. That's not Doug.
Yeah.
And if Howie's not is really trying to push this new culture and this new kind of wave of harboring or you know, bringing up the next wave of talent, this is a time to do it.
Yeah.
Right.
So I mean, I'm indifferent until I hear that Jason Peters definitely wants to come back to the Eagles, and I hear that Howie's on board with it. I don't care what Doug Peterson says.
Right. Well, it may not even come down. I don't remember because who was Jason Peters sitting next to on the plane a couple years ago? It's Jeffrey Lurie. He trumped all of them.
Let me get a couple here on the
Right.
chat, and then you can.
We don't
read
have
some.
too much going on the YouTube.
All right. So Ricky Galone brought up Khalil Mack, same thing. Bill Middlebrook says, F. Brady. He looked real old real quick last year with his wobbly, lofted passes.
We're your fans, man.
Who cares? Let him go somewhere else and fail.
You gonna talk about Brady like that?
He's just jealous that he has to sit up there in New England and watch him walk around with 6 rings when he's only got the 1.
Ricky Galone says, I'm fine with JP back as Dillard's backup. Let him continue to mold Dillard. Michael, if I hope I get your name right, buddy. Michael Myersberger. He says if Peters wants to come back, he goes to guard. Got to play Dillard. I'm okay with that too. I would be fine with that.
So just to harp on that real quick, I don't know if anyone remembers, but I had thought, like, I had heard from Peters years ago that he said he would never play guard. So I always stuck to that. Like, I'm like, he's not going to play guard. He's not going to play guard. But Trey Thomas, apparently my boy Rob told me this. He said that Trey Thomas said on the radio show that speaking to Peters, that Peters would be willing to move inside.
Well, there you go.
So if that's the case, I'm okay with it,
I'm
because
okay with it too.
I think now it would be an adjustment. I don't know how
But
good he
moving
would be
for-
inside.
For who though? Who you taking out?
Sam Malu ain't nothing to write home about.
He's not. But I'm looking now. The biggest things I want people to lose sight of that Peters is a free agent.
No, I know. We're saying if he comes back.
We're saying if he comes back.
If he comes back and he moves.
Hypothetical.
Yeah, it's hypothetical.
But you have to pay him, regardless.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. No, but I'm saying if he comes back.
I don't think Jason Peters
Yeah.
is going to command Jason Peters' money at this point.
Yeah, he's not going to be paying like $10 million.
I mean, they're not going to pay him $1 million, but he's not getting.
What did you-
But at that point, I don't think anybody's paying him that money. So he steps away then. If he's not willing to take less money, I think he walks away. He's done.
Yeah.
I don't see any. His best chance of getting that money is from the Eagles. And if they pay him that kind of money again, they're fucking stupid. I'll call it right now. Huh?
You got $5 million last year.
And he was hurt, and he had injury issues again. Now, last year, they didn't have the mind frame of we're going to start going younger and starting to let these guys go. So at this point now, if this dude's trying to take a big chunk of your cap space for this year, fuck him. Take a walk. Thanks for the ring.
Last year was
You're a Hall of Famer. See you later.
Last year was different because they signed them before they drafted Dillard.
Yeah.
It wasn't Dillard. They drafted Dillard and like, okay, no, we have to draft. No, like it happened the other way around. They signed Peters first.
Yeah.
Different circumstance.
Middlebrook said he's going to be 39. So I was right. 39, assholes.
I love it when you get
Talk
angry.
about
Okay.
JP.
I said 38. I did say 38.
You were closer to me than Pete. He's a stupid jerk.
He said 38.
Ricky Galone says, I think that Dillard's bright spots outweighed his bad spots. I think it could possibly be rookie woes. Bill says JP's going to be 39, holy F. Even though I just said the F, I don't know why I said that. He said, love JP, but goodbye. Frank Vespi says trading Dillard would be a huge mistake.
I can. Yeah.
Bill Middlebrook agrees.
Yeah, I wouldn't
Ricky
trade Dillard.
Galone agrees. Bill says Dillard played great against Mac. Get JP out of here, and he doesn't need someone looking over his back. He says, of course, JP wants to come back. He's effing 38. Bye-bye. JP might actually die on the field if he plays as a starter.
Jesus.
They gave him $5 million. F him.
Fans are so extreme. Like, I don't think Dillard. I don't think Dillard is played nearly as good as the chat is saying, and I don't think Peters was nearly as bad as the chat is saying.
So Jason Peters in the second half played much better.
Right.
He played well. I mean, we can't say that he
played
didn't
well.
play well.
He played well.
Problem is,
people think that he was horrible. No, he played well.
He played it well enough to
Problem is he-
take the starting position.
Problem
Yes.
is, he was hurt in the first half of the season, and when he did play, he didn't play that well. I'm not saying he played terrible.
He was playing
but he
hurt.
didn't play that well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's every year now with this guy. That's
Yeah.
my problem.
Yeah, yeah.
As the
yeah,
older
At
you
this
get-
point,
Right.
here's my thing, right? I understand that his production was better in the second half. I believe in the culture change of getting younger. I can't continue to have guys with age and injury issues.
No, I hear you.
You can't go into every year with so many injury question marks.
Yeah.
You now you're looking at what's Deshaun Jackson. I know it's a different position, but we're playing the same game. We did this last year,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Where we went through all the positions and we're like, now we got to worry about this person and this person and this Alshon Jeffrey and Deshaun Jackson, and we went down the list of all the guys coming back from injury. And it's like, I know they're different positions, but how can you go with so much uncertainty at one point?
Yeah.
Dillard's young. I would like to see what this kid could do. Let's worry about those other things with a guy whose ceiling is higher.
Yeah.
Deshaun Jackson still
Yeah.
has a higher ceiling of production.
Yeah.
I know it's a different position, but in terms of what I'm going to get as a wide receiver in production ceiling,
Yeah. What you
to
can
what
get.
Jason Peters as a tackle,
Yeah.
it's night and day.
Yeah, let me be, because I agree with you. Like what I'm saying is last year, Peters was overall throughout the whole year. Peters was better than Dillard. Okay,
He was.
Peters was better than Dillard, and people need to they have to stop just wanting saying what they want to see. Yeah. Okay, but from this point forward, because if you remember all last year, I said after this season it's done. Peters is done. I personally do not want Peters to be re-signed. Regardless of my concerns about Dillard and what I had over the draft pick, his time is now. I've been consistent with that since last year. I'm saying the same thing now. Dillard's time is now. So whatever has happened up to this point, whatever struggles he's had, they are what they are, but his time has to be now. I personally would not want Peters back for the reasons you said, and you have to be able to coach up Dillard, and Dillard's got to now step up, and he's got to be like, I'm a first-round pick. I have to step in. I have to be tougher than what I have been.
So for me, because I started this whole thing with saying just a rumor.
We got to break. Go to break. You want to
Real
hold it for a minute?
30 seconds.
Go ahead.
I don't want Peters back either. I would move on to Dillard. And I think that he should learn a lot from Brandon Brooks because that dude plays with anxiety every game, and he finds a way to get it done. And he's the best damn guard in the whole national football, from my opinion.
I agree with you. And last thing before we go to break real quick, are you going to – or did you want to
chime in?
All right, last thing before we go to break. I'm going to read these comments and just respond to it real quick. Joey D. Bardino, JP, false starts. Bill Motorbook, false start. JP gets that check and sits on the bench all year and smiles. A lot of that in the beginning of the year, too, because of his age, because of the injury issues and whatnot, is him trying to get a jump on the play. And at this point, he's not a guy who has that kind of reaction time like a younger guy like a Dillard. And I look at this now, and I'm just looking at JP, and I'm like, you got us a Super Bowl. You gave us years of experience. And now
right off.
2 years falling off of that. With injury issues, the team compensated you financially.
Yes.
They have done their part to treat you like the legend that you are well after the prime at this point.
Yes.
It's time now that you take less money or you take a walk.
Yep.
First half of the show brought to you by Specialized Physical Therapy, our doc, Dr. Paul Vidal. Check him out, specializedphysicaltherapy.com. Ambuck services, gutter guards, anything you need, guys. Let them know when you give them a call or you check them out online. Let them know that A2D sent you. You get 10% off. Ambuckservices.com, and as well as QB54, the best tailgating game in the business. Promo code no notes get you 20% off. PlayQB54.com. On the other side, we'll come back. We're going to talk. What are we talking, Chucks? We're talking trade
scenarios.
Trade scenarios and no huddle.
What a game.
Stick with us, and we'll be with you guys in a few minutes.
Hi, folks. Bob Mannery here. You're listening to A2D Radio, real sports talk radio for the fans, by the fans, no agenda. These guys are the best in the business. Hashtag it. No notes. Hi, folks. Bob Mannery here. You're listening to A2D Radio, real sports talk radio for the fans, by the fans, no agenda. These guys are the best in the business. Hashtag it. No notes.
What up, fam? Welcome back. Birds of a Feather, Tuesday night, live on a2dradio.com. Coming at you live, Twitter, Instagram, Periscope, Facebook, YouTube. Can't check us out live? No worries, guys. We got you covered in podcast form. iHeartRadio, Spreaker, Spotify, SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts or iTunes, whatever you call it, Google Play. We're all over the place. It's a beautiful thing. The takeover is real. We're brought to you by our doctor, Dr. Paul Vidal. You can find him in Burlington, Cherry Hill, Princeton, New Jersey, at Specialized Physical Therapy. No appointment necessary. Check him out, specializedphysicaltherapy.com. You can also hear the doc on Sunday nights or days with Agree to Disagree. Sometimes they do a day show.
Yes.
On
Sunday.
On Agree to Disagree, the flagship on Sundays, and the doc always has some really great insight on things. So, you know, especially when there's injury issues going on. You know, he gives you a lot of the insight on there. How Chuck's like to break down tape here. He'll break down those injuries and how that can affect guys.
So you think that we need to have the doc when me and Ralphie do the 40?
Most definitely. 100%.
Yeah. We're gonna have Doc Specialized Physical Therapy on speed dial ready for you guys. Although we don't know. Ralphie's got to accept still. He's here.
We don't know.
Ralphie said he's not. Just for the fam who watched the show last week, what we're talking about, and we kind of touched on it earlier. We were talking about Pete threw a challenge down to Ralphie to a race which turned into the A2D Olympics that we're putting together for the summertime. And Ralphie has said that he will officially answer the challenge, not this Wednesday, but next Wednesday when the fix comes back.
I mean, it's a simple yes or no. But okay.
Listen, Ralphie, Ralphie's got his way to do things. I'm excited for it. So make sure you guys next Wednesday check out the fix, and we're gonna hear what Ralphie has to say to you, Mr. Pete Evans. But we're also brought to you by Ambuck Services. You need gutter guards, tree trimming, deck installation, restoration. Anything you guys need, check them out. You let them know that A2D sent you. You get 10% off at ambuckservices.com. As well, and our topic of conversation, we're going to do trade talk, trade scenarios here. The boys came up with some. I didn't. I'm just leading the conversation. Whatever.
I love it.
But that's brought to you by QB54. I'm telling you guys, it's the hottest freaking tailgate game out there. It's so much fun. We love it. Check them out. Go on playqb54.com. Use the promo code NONOTES. It'll get you 20% off your purchase, and you guys will love it. All your friends are going to want it, especially with summertime coming up. It's great for tailgating football season. It's a friggin' blast. Check it out. Playqb54.com.
Go ahead, the poll question.
I'm getting there, bro.
Oh,
They sponsor the poll question. I got to say what's
Oh,
up.
that's right. You're right. I'm sorry.
Damn, homeboy.
This is why I don't.
He's
This is
jumping
why,
the gun over here.
this is why I don't
Jesus.
lead the show.
Damn, homeboy.
I hope that doesn't happen in your race against Ralphie.
Jump the
That's
gun.
that's the lead. That's gonna be a wire to wire.
That's gonna be that.
That's gonna be a wire to wire.
False start.
He just hit me with the JP false start over here, or offside. But yeah, anyway, back to it. Now you got me thrown off. The Eagles should consider trading Zach Ertz. That's a real question from this guy.
Oh my goodness!
Don't look at me. Look at him.
Because of that, and I need the fam to drop in your opinions on this, please. So YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, wherever you guys, I need your piling on Pete for coming up with this question.
Wow!
Pretty sure that's what this is going to turn into.
And then the other trades as well.
Which, by the way, Chuck, That segment I was on, this would have been a good time for that segment. We'll talk about that off the air.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
So, agree, disagree. The Eagles should consider trading Zach Ertz. I'm going to go to Pete Evans because I'm going to let you convince us
Right.
why this is a good idea to do right now.
For one, I didn't say it was a good idea. I said it could be a possibility.
You would do it, wouldn't you?
It depends on who the player's for, and the reason why I say that is because of
He
this.
would do it. You don't come up. You don't come up with questions like this if you might consider.
He's
doing
been
it.
wanting to trade Ertz since last year. He's
Because
like, we got
listen, I want to go back even
go ahead.
further before that. Right after the Super Bowl, I was saying screaming trade Nick Foles. Then I always believe in cashing on your assets when at their highest value.
I don't disagree with you on Nick Foles. That was
Okay.
You were
So at that
anyone
time,
with a brain could have got that one.
right. So at this time, right now, we're looking at Zach Ertz. He has a high value, and the main reason why I'm coming from, why I say I would consider trading him for the right deal if it was in fact on the table, is because we seen what we have in Dallas Goedert. Not saying he's a Zach Ertz replacement. I understand Zach Ertz is a very good route runner, can create separation, but there are some things he cannot do. And two,
Yak.
that's definitely yak, and he's going to cost more. His agent is the same agent as Austin Hooper, who is now about to get paid. So if Zach Ertz, so say Austin Hooper comes out and he gets a 4-year, $48 million deal this offseason, okay? Zach Ertz is like, all right, well, I'm better than him. So at this point, Zach Ertz now, he was drafted in 2013. He's now about to be, I think he's already 29, about to be 30. This is the last year. This is next to his last year of his deal. And he's going to start doing what Malcolm Jenkins wants to do. Well, I want more money. I want more. And we're sitting here talking about these guys, him and Kittle and Hooper have said they want to not only set the market for themselves, but they want to set the markets for tight ends and get the value that what they feel is if they should be getting. So at that point, and my question is to Chucks, are you prepared if you say no to this poll and you just throw it off that you're not even going to fucking consider it?
Nope.
And I'm not just talking about this year. I'm talking about consider trading him even next year.
I might look at it next year.
It's because of the fact.
Thank you.
Because
Thank you.
because he won't have the same value as he has now.
What?
Because the reason why I say that is
Why won't he have the same value?
because next year
Another year older.
and he's in the last year of his deal.
But he's
so what? So hold up.
I don't want to hear he's another year older. He's a fucking
But-
tight end. Tight ends play
No,
longer in
listen,
this league.
but listen, so Kev-
I haven't even gone yet.
So Kev,
Tight ends are productive in this league at an older age. We're not talking about
I'm
like
not
wide
saying that.
receivers.
I'm talking.
Not in the same way, though.
Stop
Thank
it.
you.
You're gonna move.
What? What?
Stop.
What?
You move a guy like, say, Gronk, who retired, arguably younger than any other
Gronk,
tight end.
who had injury issues all the time.
Why? Because he
one.
didn't transition. You're gonna
But
keep a
it's-
guy young.
You're
by
looking at
transitioning
one
him
guy.
all
I could
along.
go through a
my
list of
God.
guys who were highly productive at the tight end position late
All
in their
I'm saying-
career.
But
One
do
guy.
one thing.
Antonio Gates played forever. Vernon Davis played forever.
Because
Greg
they do
Olsen.
one
How old is
thing.
Greg Olsen, who just started declining?
Right, because you're asking those
How old
guys
is Travis
to do one
Kelce at
thing.
this
You're
point?
asking them to
They're
do
all approaching
small
their
blocks
points.
or running underneath. You're not asking them to do as much as Ertz is asked to do.
And the
You
Eagles
have to-
don't
and
need
you have
to
to-
because
you-
they have
And this is-
Dallas
and this is-
Goedert.
This is
You can't
this
look
is
at
my
him
this is
as
my
a
other
tight
side.
end.
This is my other side of that too. Zach Ertz, his role on this team is inflated because of the lack of wide receiver talent on this team, which I feel as if you had better wide receiver talent.
Listen.
If you had better hold on, let me finish now.
No,
if
fuck that.
If you had better wide receiver talent on this team, I think Dallas Goedert can give you some more production because he wouldn't see the same attention as Zach
No.
Ertz. And furthermore, on the fact why I say I'm more interested in trading him now is because, like Kev said, next year he's on the last year of his deal. I'm not saying he won't be as good, but he won't have as much value to another team when they know he's on the last year of the deal and they have to pay him. 2 years of Zach Ertz's services is going to get you more in return than one.
No, that's not true.
It's not true.
That
Okay.
mindset is when the guy is going to become a free agent. That's like if a
He's
guy's
going to become a free agent.
No. Like if he's entering his free agent year, that's when it's like, why would we trade for him? Because we can just wait for him to be.
But
a free
that's what I'm
agent
saying. Next year is
instead
his
of
free
signing
agent
him.
year.
No, he's in this. He has 2 more years left.
Okay, I'm sorry.
That's
I'm
what I'm
sorry.
saying. You just said it. Like
I'm counting this year.
No, he has 2 more years left. I'm saying that next year he wouldn't have that loss of value that you're talking about compared to this year because he still has a year left. As you're a team trading for him, you still get him. You still get him for a year under the contract.
So you're saying he's under contract through 2022?
Yes, he has 2 more years.
And any team that's going to acquire him is going to know that they're going to have to extend him beyond that anyway. It's already going to be going. That's going to be factored in when they make a move anyway. To me,
so is he worth wide receiver 1 money?
Yeah, I mean, okay, hold on.
If there's anybody in this league that's at that, those 3 guys in this league, if you're going to consider paying guys, those 3 guys are worth wide receiver 1 money.
That's the issue. The other 2 guys aren't there yet.
Let's
as far as
backtrack.
contract talk.
Let's backtrack because
Who?
You're looking at Kittle and Kelsey.
what about him?
Kittle is on the last. I think he's close, and Kelsey's in the last year of his deal, if I'm not mistaken. My whole biggest thing is, and listen, I don't fuck the homer shit. Zach Ertz.
It's not being a homer.
Zach Ertz on Kansas City with all that weaponry. That's all I'm saying. Like I understand. We focus on Zach Ertz because what he means to this team, to this offense,
And because he's a damn good tight end.
I'm not discounting that. But do you truly believe in your heart of hearts that Zach Ertz is that much better than Dallas Goedert?
Right now, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes. Yes.
I'm on the island. I'm cool with being on the island.
Because I don't think
I'm
you
with
realize.
only because you haven't asked Goddard to
Thank
do what
you.
Ertz has done.
Oh my God, Dallas Goedert is a great blocker. Yes, but there's no tight end in the game. No one, point blank, no one as good of a route runner and receiver as Zach Ertz. Point blank, bar none. There's
On a
none.
team that has
There's
receivers, you
none.
don't need 'em to
There's-
be,
Thank
though.
you.
No, but
That's
you
my
don't
point.
need
It
us to
doesn't
be.
matter. He gets open. He gets open. Zach Ertz was getting open against
If
double
you're a
teams.
team with
What-
receivers,
what
you're not gonna
tight
pay
end-
for something
what
you
tight
don't
end-
need.
what tight
That's
end-
my point.
But listen to me. But the Eagles, what I was saying to you in the chat the other day, is that the Eagles right now. Now hold on. Next year, we're talking about next year. We're not talking about next year because I did say to you next year when he's entering the final year of his contract. Then
I
will
definitely consider it
I
then.
will entertain another. So we're just talking about now, right now.
Absolutely
right
not.
now, absolutely right now.
Absolutely not.
Okay, we just got done talking about what holes do we have. We have plenty of holes at wide receiver. We don't have anyone. No one right now. Okay, at wide receiver. We don't know what.
So you're saying the short thing is tight end, right?
Wait, so we don't know what Deshaun Jackson's going to bring us. Anyone that we bring in, are they guaranteed to have chemistry right off the bat and produce right off the bat?
Right.
Can we guarantee that? No, we don't know if Alshon Jeffrey's going to be here. Looking like he's not. Okay, so what is the thing that this offense hangs their hat on? 2 tight end sets. What makes them so dangerous and made them so successful later on in the year? 2 tight end sets. They were the best 2 tight end offense in the league. And even you said it, Kev, that the Eagles with Zach Ertz and Goddard can be the next Gronk and Hernandez.
Well, Gronk
and they
is a
are
question
on
mark
their
'cause they've done it
and
with
they're
many. Yes,
and
I
they
have
are
said
on
that.
their way to being that.
Right.
When you do that well, that is your trump card. That is your calling card of your offense. You do not give that away, especially in an.
I'm not saying give it away.
Wait. You do not give that away in a year, in an offseason where you do not know. There's so much uncertainty at the wide receiver position. You cannot give that up. Okay. Now I see I love Dallas Goedert, and to his point, and I agree to it. I think Dallas Goedert's ceiling eventually throughout his career can ultimately be better than Zach Ertz.
I've always said that.
However, right now at this point, he is nowhere near the receiver that Zach Ertz is.
Nope.
Nowhere
And I
near
understand
the
that.
receiver that Zach Ertz is. So why would I trade away Ertz to decrease the strong
Take
point
a
of our
strength.
offense? Take a strength.
Take away from the strength of your
to
offense.
get maybe an addition on the
Let's
other side.
create more question
Yes,
marks for this
that is
football
the
team.
one short
Let's
thing on
take
this
away
offense.
from the strength of this team to create
So
more
can I
question marks.
fill in the blanks? Can I fill in the blanks?
No.
Whatever.
Time is yours.
So what I'm saying, I get it, and I've thought about that. The strength making it a weakness. But what I'm saying to you is, you would build up other strengths around it. And trust me, I'm not sitting here and say give away Zach Ertz for peanuts. I gave you examples. We've already seen Adam Schefter come out and say if certain players are traded, it's going to be a sign and trade. So if I sit here and tell you right now that I can trade a 28-year-old or 29-year-old Zach Ertz to Jacksonville for a sign and trade for Yannick Ngakoue, who's fucking 24.
No. And here's why.
Wow.
Wait, and here's why. Because who do they have on the roster right now?
No one.
No, wait, no. Tell me
The Eagles?
At edge. Who do they have at edge or wide?
Fucking Derek Barnett.
Yes. Now, am I high on Derek Barnett?
Right.
And no, I'm asking you a question.
I have no idea. I'm not.
Okay, I'm not high on Derek Barnett.
Right.
Is Jim Schwartz?
Yeah, but I think he could be taught to be
Is
higher.
Jim Schwartz high on Derek Barnett?
But is he high
He
on-
loves.
Yes.
Wait.
Yes.
He
But
But
loves.
is he high on him
The
because he
answer
has
is
nothing?
yes.
He has no one else?
answer is
His
yes.
kids love Derek Barnett. His kids have Derek Barnett jerseys. Okay? When you all know, and we've seen with Jalen Mills, when Schwartz loves a player, he is devoted to him to a fault. I hate it. But that's
Okay.
the reality. If we trade for Yannick without giving up Derek Barnett, Yannick's impact on this defense will not be as impactful as a rotational defensive end with Barnett as Zach Ertz's role on offense will be. That's what I'm looking at. That's what I'm looking at.
So, and then to go back to your point about the two tight ends, right? In 2017, we won the fucking Super Bowl. Were we a heavy two tight end team?
Yeah, Trey Burton. Trey Burton was used
as
a lot.
heavy as we were, had to be last year.
Oh no, not as heavy.
But that's
no.
my point. That's all I'm saying. All I'm trying to get
But
you.
you're
to,
also going back. Like you're going back.
but
to,
because we had a decent wide receiver group. When we have a decent wide receiver group, the tight end is not that big of an impact. That's all I'm saying.
But there's also no guarantee that. Okay, what pieces did we get? We got Alshon Jeffrey,
Right, no.
who was healthy all year.
Right.
We got Torrey Smith, who was healthy all year. And we got Nelson Aguilar, who played out of his mind. What is a guarantee that we'll get that wide receiver production?
That's
a risk. That's a risk
but
I'm
what I'm
not
saying
willing to
is-
take.
Right.
I'm not willing to
Okay.
take that risk. That's what I'm saying.
So go ahead.
I have a question. So obviously, if you're going to get rid of a receiver, you're going to want a receiver in some shape or form,
Right.
right? So what if I tell you Ertz and 2 4s for OBJ and swap picks? That puts you at 10.
For OBJ, no. I wouldn't do
OBJ
that.
and the
No.
10th pick.
Oh, 10 pick overall.
You're swapping picks.
Okay.
So you give up Ertz, 2 4s, and 21. You get OBJ back.
I
in the
would
10th.
not. Okay, here, I'll say this. And I was going to say this
That's two
earlier.
receivers
Hold on.
for a
I
tight
would say
end.
this. I would say this.
Two number ones.
Hold on. I will say this.
That'll never happen, first of all.
I will trade the
It's
only.
the Browns.
It's a scenario.
The only-
This is the scenario.
But it would never happen.
But yeah,
I
hold
would
on.
take
It's a
that.
fucking scenario.
I
Hold
would
on.
take that,
Hold
but it
on.
would never happen.
And that's my point.
That's fucking Madden
The
here.
trade-
We're playing Madden now.
The only way I'm trading Ertz is if the Eagles are undoubtedly be winning the trade and like getting so much back that's unreasonable.
How is that? Because you're at 10 now. You guarantee yourself Jerry Jeudy or Henry Ruggs.
No. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
To answer your question, yes. If I'm trading Ertz,
Right.
I'm getting a 10th overall pick.
And
right?
you're getting an elite wide receiver.
elite
That's
wide
different.
receiver.
Yeah, that's different because you're talking
Yeah.
about you're taking like one of the top 3 wide receivers for a top 3 tight end. We're not talking about like moving him for other pieces to acquire assets.
And
or
I
whatever.
never,
The Browns
and
as
I-
far
I
as-
never,
The
and I
Browns
never,
would never do that.
But to
I
me,
never
that's a
posed
They
it-
may
I never posed
because
this question.
OBJ
But
wants
to me,
out.
that's like
No,
a
they
dream
wouldn't.
scenario
Yeah,
that
that-
would
I don't
never
think it's that
happen.
far off.
Right, but
Because
I
OBJ
never
wants
posed
out.
this question like I'm giving Zach Ertz. Like
Right.
I want to fucking get rid of him. I'm looking at him to say, okay, you know what? That is a strength that we have. But looking at the drop off between him and Goddard, I'm not thinking it's that. It's significant.
It's
but I'm looking
significant.
at trying to get something on defense that we don't even fucking have remotely close to what we have on offense with
So-
Dallas Goddard.
So to come back at that, this is one of my 2 that I had come up with that answers that directly. Knowing that you're going to have Miles Sanders and question mark running back as a heavier set, whether it be a Howard up front of him or if you're going to have like a Holyfield behind him and a fullback set, or using two running backs more heavy than 2 tight ends, do you trade Goddard and a 6th for J.C. Jackson and a 4th?
What? No.
No,
Why not?
Because
J.C. Jackson
because
at 5
Goddard is going to
interceptions.
be here.
I don't trade Dallas
guaranteed.
Goddard at all.
I don't
And
trade Dallas
because
Goddard.
of the fact that I legit think in my heart of hearts Zach Ertz will not be on this team in 2022.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree.
And we
So
can
if
agree with that.
that's the case, that means you're grooming Goddard. And I guess I look at it from, if I don't think the talent is that far off, give me the guy that I'm going to have for the next 5 or 6 years. Fuck the guy that's going to be here for 2 or 3, and if I can get something for him, I'll get something
But
for
right
him.
now he's
of
far off.
value.
But that's
Right
where
now he's far
that's
off.
where we differentiate because you think
Yes.
the bridge isn't that big. Me and Chucks definitely think there's a huge drop off there, and I'm not. It's not no disrespect to Goddard.
love
but it's
Goddard.
where Goddard is in his career right now. I think it's gonna take a couple of years to bridge that gap.
Why do you think that? Do you think that's because Zach Ertz is just that much better, or like Kev said,
I think he's blocking him.
or because Goddard hasn't been given the opportunity?
No, because one of the main things too is and it took a lot of work for Ertz for years. I think that the route running is a huge difference at that position, and I think Dallas Goedert is going to have a ways to go before he gets on that level. And I think that's what separates
Yeah, Ertz
Zach
from
Ertz
everyone
from
else.
everyone else. Is his ability to route run.
To me personally, I don't.
You don't.
It's hard. Like I love Ertz. I think he is a top 3. But overall, I don't think he could touch Kittle.
I'd worry about you if you didn't think he was a top 3. By the way,
there's
there's nobody.
It's really it's only the
There's
three.
nobody out of those
It's
three.
really only the
To
3.
me, he's number 2. To me, he's number 2.
Behind Kittle or behind
Kittle.
Kelsey?
I agree.
I think he's ahead of Kelsey.
I think at this point he's ahead of Kelsey now too.
I think the bridge, Kelsey is not as great a blocker as everyone
No,
say
but
he is.
Kelsey's more explosive.
Yeah, but Kelsey is also not the route runner and receiver that.
But when he has the ball, he can run through people.
That's the thing.
So you're basing it all on just Yak? Like you're just
I'm not saying that's it. I'm not saying that's
saying
it.
just Shaq, but I'm saying explosive as his when Zach Ertz. Okay, great. I can run a 10-yard in. I can run a 10-yard out, and
Cool.
I got that 10. But if you fuck around with Kelsey, he gets a 10-yard in and a 10-yard out. He may take that bitch for 60.
Cool. Well, Zach Ertz can get doubled and will still get open and catch the ball down the field on the
But
season.
why does he get doubled? My point exactly.
'Cause
Why
you
does he
got no
get doubled?
receivers
Because
to
you have
double
nothing
around
the
him.
fuck else.
And he's still getting open.
So
Travis Kelsey has Kyrie Hill, Sammy Watkins, and Mecole Hardman on the outside. So I don't think it's that far fetched.
So, but if you put Zach Ertz on that team, his numbers would be even more imploded.
Yeah, because he's that good. He is that good. You double Kelsey. You put Kelsey with this wide receiver core to play with him. Is he putting up the same type of numbers as Zach Ertz is? I beg to differ. I don't think so.
That kind of does
I
lead
don't
right
think
into
so.
Pete's saying is that means that right now the best value for Ertz is going to be now after putting up the numbers he did
It's
last
not
year.
going to change in a year. It's not going to change in a year.
If you go
He's
if
still
you
in
go
his
up and
prime.
if you go up and you get a receiver off of free agency and you go up and you get a Ruggs or Judy or whoever might have fallen there and you use him less, his value on paper is going to be less.
Okay, use him less is different from him putting up 1,000 yards receiving or close to it. Just because a player doesn't have the numbers doesn't mean his play has declined.
So the Patriots.
I'm not saying it's going to decline.
The
I'm
Patriots,
saying-
you're saying
the Patriots
he's
didn't
not
have a
gonna
playmaking wide receiver for how many years? Should they have traded Gronk to get that on the other side? What's the fucking difference?
They've always
Gronk
had
was a top
other
3
receivers.
elite tight end at his time. That's where the position that Zach Ertz is in now,
Exactly.
and they have less on wide receiver than the Eagles have.
Because they
so
never-
you tell me what's the difference between
Because
Gronk
they
and
have-
Ertz in his situation now?
Because-
There's no difference.
Yes, there is.
Yes,
Why
there
was it
is.
It's a
okay?
fucking big difference, and it's on his fucking shirt. It's the greatest fucking quarterback of all time. They had him, and they still fucking won with Gronk. I can see if we was winning chip after chip after chip after chip, I don't give a fuck. Zach Ertz can fucking die on the fucking field, but we're fucking not. We're sitting here looking at our wide receiver position, fucking looking at Greg Ward and I can't even think of the other kid, Deontay something that came off the Jets practice squad.
Okay, well then if that's the case where we're so in need of help, why don't we trade someone else at a position where we have a lot?
So do you not feel that Carson Wentz can make that step forward and start becoming that next elite quarterback or one of the elite quarterbacks?
To me, this has nothing to do with Carson.
I'm not, but
you
you
just
just
made
brought
the-
up the quarterback in
Yeah.
Tom Brady. I believe that
That's
Carson
a whole fucking different level.
No, it's not a different level because you're still talking. They had the faith in the quarterback that they had. I don't care that he won the fucking race.
that's true.
The point is, they had a franchise quarterback that they believed that whoever was out on the field was going to win football games with whoever was out on the field.
Right.
The Eagles feel the same way about Carson Wentz, whether some people want to be detractors or not.
That's true.
So if you're looking at it like that and you're saying, well, the quarterback is the difference maker, I believe with the connection.
Oh, no. Hold on.
But I'm saying,
let me finish.
No,
Let me
no.
finish.
Let me finish. Hold on.
It's head coach, it's
No, no,
GM,
no.
it's organization, it's everything.
No, because
Let him
I'm going to
finish.
look at it too. Because you look at the relationship that Tom Brady did have. Oh, I lost my mic too. That Tom Brady did have
Right.
with Gronk. You look at the relationship and the connection that Zach Ertz and Carson Wentz have.
Right.
That's
That's
valuable.
a difference maker. There's a difference in
Yes.
the
It's an
value
intangible.
of that
It's an
than bringing
intangible.
somebody else in. But that intangible means so much on this freaking football team.
That's true. But also, I will say this to couple that.
I'm not calling him Tom Brady by any means, but I'm saying
But
As you
that-
should.
that
in terms of
chemistry-
the franchise quarterback
Yeah.
that you believe in, the Eagles believe in him, whether he has the rings or not, just as much as they believed in him.
So 3 things really. The things that are different.
Am
I'm
I-
not.
am I
I'm
back
not,
on?
You're back on.
All right.
So I'm not sitting here saying that I don't believe Carson Wentz is elite and he can't do that. There's 2 things that also go with that being the difference between Tom Brady and Carson. One is the coach and the coaching staff and their ability to draft. 2, New England never had anyone underneath the Gronk like we have Dallas underneath the Zach. Because if they did, and Kevin is here as my witness, it may have changed some things at that time when Gronk started getting old. Because we all know Belichick is quick to move on for somebody if he
He's
thinks
quick
it's
to
a
move
value.
on. He's quick to move on from players when he knows it's their time. It's not Zach Ertz's time.
So-
it drove me nuts earlier this year. After
Right.
the first 4 games, we heard talk from people from A2D and the fan base saying, "Oh my God, Zach Ertz is a shell of himself. Can you believe it?" And I'm like, "Are you crazy? Are you guys nuts?" Like, you guys really think because he's struggling here and there, because he's getting double teamed every single snap, and it's the first 4 games of the season, you honestly think he's a shadow of himself?
Right.
He is still the same player he was.
I'm
2
not
years
saying
ago.
he's not.
And there is no
addressing
reason.
everybody.
There is
Oh, okay.
no reason to believe that he won't be the same player next year. If he has less stats because there are more weapons around him, the league isn't going to go, "Oh, well, he has 150 less receiving yards and 2 less touchdowns. That means his value isn't as great as it was last year." No! They're going to look at the film. They're going to look at him and say, he's still the same player as he was. And he just had a better team around him. It doesn't work that way. I don't know why we are assuming that next year, all of a sudden, his value goes kaboom down into the floor, and then you have to trade him now. Like,
So-
you have to realize in this situation right now, he is way too valuable. To his
Right.
point, the chemistry, he is the safety blanket for Carson Wentz. And for every single quarterback, that safety blanket, for Donovan McNabb earlier in his career, it was Chad Lewis. And then when Brian Westbrook out here, it was Brian Westbrook. And then with Wentz, it's now Ertz. Even Foles, when he came in, who was the safety blanket? Ertz. Like, you're going to get rid of the number 1 wide receiver, the one that the quarterback trusts the most. You're going to get rid of him on a hunch that maybe
Who said it's a hunch?
his value is going to plummet. No, like you.
All I'm saying
No,
is
because I want to add to that too. Because again, we're talking about a guy who's 29 who plays a position where they tend to be productive a lot longer than
in
wide
a very
receivers.
different way.
But
though.
I'm saying he still can be highly productive. The fact that with the explosiveness and all that bullshit, whatever. The fact that he runs routes the way he does, though, is what creates more opportunities and less stress on the guy.
Right.
And then I look at it. We're sitting here talking about draft in the past and the present. We've seen all the wrong missteps over the years that Howie has made. I'm not confident that if Howie pulls the trigger early to fill spots, that he's going to be able to gauge the right return for Zach Ertz at this point.
That's true.
So I will wait another year while he's still highly productive and will continue to be highly productive
We hope.
as a top 3 in this. Listen, it would take a catastrophe, and I ain't even knocking on wood with this because it wouldn't matter if I knocked on wood. He would have to fucking snap his femur to be a guy who kills his value next year.
It would have to be
I
an
don't
injury.
care. It would have to be a massive injury. And you could say that about any player in this league. So I'm not going to judge just how I'm going to look at him on a hunch of an injury killing his value. Because
Right.
if he's healthy, he is going to produce on the football field.
Right.
As long as Carson Wentz is your fucking quarterback, this man is going to produce on the football field.
So I love the discussion. Go ahead, Kev.
So real quick, when we
Man, I
talk
said
about
a lot more F words than I usually say.
So when we talk about usage, the thing that you have to be wary of, and the thing that scares me moving forward with any tight end, not just Ertz, is the Jimmy Graham effect. You have a guy that's used predominantly as a receiver, like Ertz is now. being that they don't have anyone else around them, goes to arbitration to get tagged as a receiver to get that bigger dollar amount, and then 2 years later now is only used in a limited role,
Zach
more
Ertz
as a
got his
blocking
money.
type end.
Zach Ertz got his money.
He wants more money.
So
He's gonna want more.
okay, but he got.
So what do you do?
Your scenario is that that's not a
I'm-
straight
I'm-
parallel. That's not a clear cut comparison.
But I think
I'm
he's
talking
looking at
about
it from-
usage.
From
I'm
from
talking
the
about
usage and the money.
being
So
usage.
that's the biggest thing. I'm also looking at, are we willing to sit here and pay him?
No, but that's my point. Is
Okay.
that we're not. That's why I said next year I'll consider it.
What if he holds out this year?
Is there any news of him holding out this year?
He's not holding out this year.
Wait, we'll see when March 18th comes around.
If that's
And no, if he holds
if
out, no.
if he
he's-
holds
I'm
out,
not trading him.
then we will revisit. But based on the information at hand, he's not holding out.
I don't want. I wish, to be honest with you,
You sound like you want to trade him.
I know.
You're looking for
You've been
every reason
you've
to
been wanting
trade
to trade
him.
since last
dude,
year.
I have. I'm not fucking. Listen. There's two players on this team that get a lot of love for a lot of shit that I think they shouldn't get a lot of love for. That's two. One is fucking Malcolm Jenkins. Just because you're fucking available all the time and you don't miss fucking games and you're dependable as shit doesn't mean you're fucking effective. That's one.
This past year he wasn't. Before
Two.
this year he was.
Two is I've been on this. Once I can see it with certain players where we talked about Dillard. I'm not sure if Dillard's ready to take that next step.
He's gonna have to. But good.
I have more, and Chrome said it. I just have more faith in Dallas becoming that guy to replace Ertz than Dillard becoming that guy to replace
We
Peters.
agree with that. We agree with that.
I have the confidence in that as well. I don't have a confidence that it is this year.
My issue-
The way you let me
Next
dead in
year-
my eye.
Next year, I might be on board with you.
Yes.
I have the same confidence long term, but for
Okay.
this year, I do not have that confidence.
Yeah. Exactly.
So how long does Goddard have left?
He was
He
just
got
drafted 2
He
years
was just
ago.
drafted 2 years ago.
He was
so
a
he's got-
second-round pick, so he
more
has
years.
He'll have an option too. So we'll have
fourth-year
two-
option.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
two
my
more years.
5th-year option.
So my issue is as far as you look at guys that okay, I'm not starting all the time. I'm not getting the reps I need, and I'm not given the chance to show how good I can be. Do you stick around with a team or go be an instant starter someplace if they continue to show the loyalty to Ertz? Or does he say, I want what you would have paid Ertz because I'm going to be that
like
good?
a few years down the line.
I'm talking about this conversation starting next year, saying, okay, if you're sticking with Ertz and you're not trading him to get the value now, and we're still both at the same time, you're still either giving a contract to one or the other. What's to say Goddard's not saying, hey, I don't really want to be here anymore because I don't want to – if it's a choice of me versus him and you haven't even given me the shot to show how good I am, why wouldn't I go be a superstar someplace else?
Well, one, I just want to say he has been getting he's been getting more of a shot than any other backup tight end in the league.
Yes.
So that's one.
Which I think will change, though.
Two, if you're having this conversation next year, I am pretty confident to say the Eagles will say to him, you are the guy of the future. Ertz is not going to be in our plans for very long. Like, stick it out. You are familiar with our team.
But if you're a guy like that, you don't want to hear that.
If we stop it, if we can look at it and understand that situation, you don't think that he already knows all this is going on, that he's the guy of the future?
You don't want
and
to hear
over here,
that.
Yeah.
like Chuck said, I don't care what he wants to hear. Nobody wants to hear that they're not the guy on a team. I don't care if you're the fucking fourth running back.
But he can
You
go
wanna
someplace
hear that
and
you're
be the guy.
He has to. He's got 3 years. He can't go anywhere for 3 years. He can't go anywhere for 3 years. If the Eagles decide to move on next year and move Zach Ertz, and he's shown then. If secondly,
the guy.
he has to be the guy who gets on the field, and when he has the opportunities, continue to prove it. He hasn't proven enough yet.
I'm just saying, give me him for J.C. Jackson.
That's
and the
what
picks.
you want.
That's what I want.
And Bill over here says, Chuck, so after next season, then what? People are going to jump to take a guy who wants top money? They do all the time. The Jets just jumped at fucking Le'Veon Bell. Yeah. If you're an elite player, top 3 to 5 of your position in the league, doesn't matter if you're on a franchise tag or whatever you are, people will pay money.
Yeah, where did that come from?
It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
I love you, Bill, but that was ridiculous.
Yeah.
If we were making the argument that nobody's going to jump at him, and I don't even know if you were, I didn't read the next comment, That's insane. That's
Well,
ridiculous.
I'm on YouTube. There's no one's untradeable.
And yes, we would move up to take the OBJ deal if that was there. We said that.
No one is untradeable. So
It would just take a lot to be able to trade things. Okay, I
Roscoe
want to
says that the Rams will be
all right, another
I
trade
wanna
scenario. Go ahead.
Hold on, because I want to get to my because I spent
That's what I'm saying. Go ahead.
yeah I spent half an hour putting this together, a lot
Wow.
of research, and I don't
I thought
even
about
know-
mine on
That
the
took 10
shitter.
minutes.
Yeah. So I thought about two. The first one was pretty clear cut and simple. It's Sidney Jones for Dante Pettis of the Niners. Dante Pettis, a wide receiver taken in the second round 2 years ago, who has fallen out of favor. So it's kind of like
Would Debo be in
change
there?
change of scenario for both players. Maybe they'll be able to blossom.
Just a
So,
straight player swap.
Straight player swap. Sidney Jones for Dante Pettis.
I would do that.
Yeah, I would absolutely
Yes,
do that.
I would do that.
So
I would do that.
my second trade scenario. Okay, it's a 3-team trade.
Oh Lord.
And
Which I wish the NFL did more of.
Yes, I did research on this by looking up the Brock Osweiler trade
Okay.
as reference to see what the comparative prices would be, and the trade for the Frank Clark trade last year and the D Ford trade. Okay, so I used those as barometers. Okay, so I pretty much used that as a measuring stick, and then I put equal values to put this together. It might seem confusing at first, and some of it might be off. I thought about it, but so far this is as even as I think I could get it. So, the Eagles, well, you know what, I'll did them last. The Jaguars would trade Nick Foles and Yannick Ngakoue away. They would get O.J. Howard, the tight end from the Bucks, Derek Barnett from us, and our 2021 second-round pick. The Buccaneers, they would be trading away O.J. Howard, and they would be trading away their 5th-round pick to us. So O.J. Howard would be going to the Jags. The Bucks would be getting Nick Foles, the Jags' 2nd-round pick as a compensation for taking on the contract, the Jags' 6th-round pick, and our 4th-round pick of this year. Mm-hmm. The Eagles would get Yannick Ngakoue and the Bucks' 5th-round pick.
So the point of this is the motherfucker wants Yannick Ngakoue.
I
He
would
just
say-
don't want to give him Zach Ertz for the bitch.
I'm not giving up Ertz for Yannick. I've said I want Yannick.
You did.
Yeah,
Okay.
I said I want
That's
Yannick.
a lot going on, and I can follow that, and I think that's fair compensation for all parties
If you
involved.
want a visual, you can. If you want to read it, but
I'm going to just decline either way because I want O.J. Howard too.
God,
but-
for selfish reasons, Jesus Christ.
No.
Just become a Tampa Bay fan when Tom Brady may go there.
I'm already halfway there color-wise.
Yeah, true.
Bias aside, it's an even trade. It would
Yeah.
take a lot to get all three to sit down to do it.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
Pete said, it doesn't happen often.
Yeah.
But,
Right.
if they were going to sit down, that could get done.
Sounds good.
So that was your two. What's your second one? Did you have a second one?
Yeah.
Can I just say real quick, too, in a quick response before you read yours, to say that, you're going to trade for a guy who's asking for top money. Did we just not watch the Antonio Brown drama that went on this year?
Please don't
Everything
remind me.
going
That's the
into
Raiders.
it.
That's the Raiders, though. That
Doesn't matter, though. Everything going into it. Did we not? There was other teams that wanted him. You're going to tell me you didn't see it? Like, come on, man.
Yeah. I don't know if that.
I can't believe I didn't even think of that first. I went to Le'Veon Bell first. But, like, come on. If a guy's an elite player,
You
in
just
this
said this
position, people will do it.
with the Chris. Who is it? Was it Chris? Tom Jackson said, "Come on, man." Or was that Chris Carter?
No, that's Tom Jackson.
That's Tom Jackson.
Come on, man. Oh no, Chris Carter too.
Chris Carter. Yeah.
Come on, man.
All right.
So, Bill's giving up a 6th. Eagles trading out 2 4ths and Alshon. Bill's taking the cap.
2/4.
Yeah, 2
We're gonna-
4ths and Alshon.
I'll take it. I'll do.
Yeah,
do
he's
it.
fucking-
2 4ths and Alshon,
I'll
and you
drive
only
him to
get a
Buffalo.
6th.
I'll
give
drive
that.
him to Buffalo. I'll buy him a pair of skis.
If they take
I
on the
will
whole,
take-
if they take on the whole cap hit, yeah.
Well, they're going to take on a piece.
Right,
I don't know
Yeah,
if it'd
take
be
it on
up.
a piece.
They would take a large piece of it. Though.
Yeah.
Yeah. See ya.
Huh?
A sixth.
A
That's it.
6.
It would basically be the
2/4.
keep to leave trade.
Also, yeah.
Yeah.
You're basically buying a pick.
I would absolutely do that.
So my second scenario is: would you give a before for AJ Bouye? That's all I'm gonna say.
Would I have?
Yes. Especially if you have 3.
Yeah.
Especially, I didn't even know we had 3.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah.
And I was like a 4th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all they gave up, a 4th.
Yep.
and you getting a starting level corner, and then you still go outside Byron Jones, you're set.
Yep.
So, all right, but no, real shit, real scenario. If I can see if I come up one on the fly.
Well, you have another one, right?
No, just those
That was
two.
it, yeah.
I had a couple free agents out there. That
So
are
if I
sitting
come
there.
up with a trade scenario on the fly. Look at the teams. All right. Detroit trades Matt Stafford
Never.
and Matt Stafford
Sounds good, but it'll never happen.
for Derek Carr and a fourth.
Never happen.
Derek Carr in the 4th.
They're like the same person. Why would I swap them?
Well, Stafford's definitely
Yes.
above him.
Stafford's got the bigger arm, but Carr's more mobile.
What?
Stafford's not a winning quarterback. I'm sorry.
Stafford's mobile.
Yeah, he's mobile.
He's a bigger guy. He's not as mobile. He's not looking to extend plays. He's gonna take a hit back there versus
I
what
don't
Carr
know.
was.
I
Especially being scared
I
after
wouldn't
snapping his
say.
leg.
I think they're about equal in terms of mobility. I don't. Stafford moves. Stafford can move. I mean,
Sure, why not? I'm all for that trade, Pete. Why not? To me, they're irrelevant guys. I don't think they make. I know, but I don't think either guy makes
Right.
the other team better. So I don't. I mean, sure. I don't think.
I'd rather take Stafford.
I don't think either
I'd rather
team
take
would
Allen.
hurt. I mean, I think they both stink personally. I'm not a Matt Stafford guy. Guy's great for fantasy points, but he's not a winning quarterback. He's a nice guy.
Right.
Nice guy. I mean, hey, kudos to you, pat on the back, but stinks.
He's like kudos.
I think we're going to see a lot of sign-in trades, though, which we
The
saw
way
that.
Yannick is going is pretty much.
Yeah,
He already said. He came out and said like my time's done.
yeah.
So
it's
There's
gonna
been a
be-
lot of
Traded.
there's been a lot of tag and trade scenarios brought up too.
Yeah,
Brett Green's.
that's my boy. That's the one.
That's the one. Yeah. I'm just going through comments here on YouTube, and he said even Mahomes is tradable for 30 first-rounders. I know it's
He's
a joke,
always an
but I don't
extremist.
think. I'm pretty sure the cap is 3 first-rounders.
Listen, we saw what happened with Ricky Williams, man.
The whole draft.
They traded an entire draft for Ricky Williams.
Yeah.
Freaking Mike Ditka had his Hawaiian shirt on, lit up his cigar, put his sunglasses on, and walked out of the draft. Say it.
He says to the Pettis scenario, he says no, simply because we are most likely getting a wide
Right.
receiver in the draft, and the defensive rotation is more dependent. I think I don't. Yeah, but by getting rid of it's to me it's equal value because they're both people that have shown flashes but have never panned out as second-round picks. So I don't think there's any.
I don't think we're ever going to see it here with Sydney.
Nah,
just don't
change the
think-
scenery.
Change the scenery for both.
Right.
both.
So would you do it for? So I don't know. I feel like we're not addressing the defense so much. We hear all this talk about the offense.
Yeah.
And because that's where it's at. But I can see ways on the offense to make it better. I'm not seeing ways yet on the defense to
Well,
make
I
it.
want Byron. I've been saying
By-
it. I
But
want
that's
Byron.
one piece though.
Ha
yeah.
Clinton Dix and Bradley Roby.
No.
Go get them both.
We do need
Cheap
a
money.
safety.
Well, Chris Harris is going to be available for the cheap now.
Well, yeah.
For how cheap?
For his age, you're gonna have to go
Cheap.
Cheap.
Sure.
I want to take a fourth for one of our fours or maybe our third and try
You know what I wish?
try to go get Justice.
You know what
Simmons
I
from
wish?
Denver.
I wish I knew what their plan was for Avonte Maddox. If they plan on sticking him or leaving him at corner, or if they really want to make him a safety.
Well, that's where
I don't know.
I just saw it in the chat where you talking about Jim Schwartz falling in love with a player and falling in love with a player's role. We've been screaming for it to put Rasul at safety for years.
He's not going to do it.
He won't do it.
He won't do it.
There's a guy out there that plays both corner and safety and was pretty successful in both last year.
Byron Jones?
No. J.C. Jackson.
God,
Why do
with
you
the
not want J.C. Jackson?
thing.
Because I want him out. That way they have to resign McCourty and keep everybody else in place.
Well, we can just fucking sign McCourty if we wanted to. We tried to do it 3-4 years
No.
ago.
You can't have him.
He's from
Simply-
Rutgers.
Okay? And Steven Belichick coached there. That's how we got him.
Hey, man, I think the Eagles tried to do it once before, but I'm like, at that point, if you're
He's going to leave his brother?
if you're gonna bring in Devin McCourty, they did it before he was in Tennessee.
Yeah, but now they're there. They can't not stay there.
So
I'm sure they're around each other way enough to be like, okay, let's. We gave the same team thing a try. Let's go.
Bill
go
wants to
somewhere
know:
else.
would you trade back to 26 for a second and a fifth?
for
Yes.
another second and a fifth?
Yeah, fuck
Absolutely.
yeah.
5 spots for a second and fifth? Yes.
Shit.
Yes.
Who's picking 26? Who's at 26, Bill?
Yeah, who is that 26?
Ralphie's going to look it up. Stat guy Ralph.
Hurry up, Ralph. Hurry up. Hurry up.
Whose Lakers are losing to the Sixers right now?
No, they're not. Are they?
Yes, they
Are
are.
they
Yes, they are.
They really are?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, okay. For the first half.
What's it like?
That's real
3-2?
news.
They'll wake up.
No, it's like 28 to 24 or some shit.
They'll wake up in the second half.
That's just what the Clippers did. The Clippers fucked around with this.
Yeah.
Shake was out that bitch scoring.
I
Six is Miami. The Dolphins.
I don't want
Which
Miami to
second
give
round
that
pick
much up.
though? So if we're getting their second round pick,
Ask Bill. He's the one with the trade scenario.
but we're getting Miami's second round pick, which
Yeah.
is early as shit.
No, I'm not trading. If I'm Miami, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, if you're Miami, you're not doing that.
If I'm the
We
Eagles
have
and
a
that
resident,
offer's on the
Miami
table, I
fan
may
here.
take that even before the draft fucking start.
Yeah.
It was the Texans pick, but that was the
That was
I may
the-
take that before the draft even gets here.
I'll take it right now.
Because in that way, then I got 2 twos I can maneuver and try to
26,
get
26, a high 2, and another 2.
Miami's not doing that.
When
You
you go
can
there,
get-
can
you
you
can
wait-
get
can you ask
Hamler.
him?
Bill, however you came up,
When
put that
you go to
scenario
Florida,
out
ask
there.
him.
That may be the smartest thing you ever fucking said, Bill.
Bill, I like that. I like that.
And then I'm gonna ask
Bill
riddle,
said that's his bold prediction.
riddle me this.
I would love
It's
that.
never going to happen.
We
I know
s-
it's never gonna happen, but I would love that.
We saw this player get hurt at
Jason
the
Peters?
combine. No.
Sorry, I hear hurt.
LaVisca?
I hear hurt player, and I think Jason Peters.
No, at the combine, at the top of his position. And Friel, if you're still watching, you should be chiming in about
Who
now.
that?
Jake Friel, where
Patrick
are you?
Queen.
Oh, Patrick Queen. I didn't watch linebackers.
He needs surgery now. So, with that being said,
So does LaVisca.
at 26, so is that something that you may look at as far as linebacker? But I will make this prediction because I saw what Laviscus did say about him when he met Cole. I think there's a strong possibility Lavisca Chenault ends up on this team.
I wouldn't be mad at it, but not in the first round anymore.
No, fuck, no.
Not in the first round.
Gentlemen,
I I like him. Cool.
Gentlemen, I'm going to ask a quick question.
What's up?
Do you want to finish the show on this? We got 5 minutes left, or does anybody have a no huddle they want?
I have a no huddle.
It doesn't matter. Yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
This
Go
was a
ahead.
good conversation, productive, guys. We'll
Very good
continue it.
show.
Maybe we'll continue it next week. Who knows? Maybe if we want to sit, we like each other.
Maybe we'll see. We'll see if we have time.
Maybe Zach Ertz will be traded by then.
Maybe.
Maybe Jason Peters will be signed. Who knows? Fucking guy.
Hey, I don't want Jason Peters.
Maybe
back.
we'll have a bracket thing to do next week.
Ooh.
That's his idea.
We got some fun stuff coming up, guys. On this show, we're gonna be changing up some things and bring some, especially with the off season. We're gonna have some fun things coming up. Go ahead, Pete. What's your
So, listen. John Barchard, and I said your name. Not calling you out.
Yeah, you are.
I've been fucking with you for a while, even through the whole BLG split last year, 2 years ago.
That's when I stopped.
But for you to sit here and say that the Eagles shouldn't even worry about drafting Jalen Reagor for the fact of because we can't develop talent, you're not even putting any faith in Aaron Moorhead as a new wide receivers coach whatsoever. How can we just sit there and write off and be scared to get talent because we can't trust our coaching staff to coach that talent up? It's just the most asinine thing I've ever heard him say. And I hope he was being facetious. I'm not sure. I never talked to him personally. And if he, wants to give his side of it, more than welcome to come on Birds of a Feather. Fuck, I will go on. Any one of us, me, Chucks, Kev, or Chrome, we ain't hard to find. We'll go on because I feel like we all kind of agree with that. When I speak for all of us, like, how can you just discount drafting a player or looking away from him? Because the Eagles have proven before they can't develop talent, which I'm not discounting that they can't.
Different coaching staff now.
But they addressed
brand
that
new
issue
staff.
with a different staff now.
It's the whole thing that when fans say, "Oh, it doesn't matter how many draft picks we have because Howie can't draft either." So what's your solution then? So if Howie can't draft, so what? You want to give away all your picks and just sign people? It's unreasonable. It's like the fact that things can't change. They feel like because of past mistakes, things can't change. But we won our Super Bowl because we changed things up.
Yeah.
Howie went from being, and this guy is the first one to admit, when Howie came back, he was saying, I hate it, but if he proves me wrong, I'll be the first to give him credit. And when he had that offseason and got Wentz, and he was the guy, he was the first to go Howie's a hero. So Howie
You said
showed.
Howie's a hero?
I call him Howie Hero.
Howie Hero.
Fuck.
I
So
haven't,
he
called him,
showed-
I haven't called him that in a while. It's
Wow.
It's been a little bit.
been about a year.
Been
now.
about a year. Been
My
about a year.
fanhood is on a year-to-year lease. You have to earn my fandom every year. You are not afforded shit. Maybe that's why I'm so easy to trade players, because of that reason. Because for Howie,
Or I call you a fair weather fan.
what?
No, but you're not a fair weather fan.
My heart just skipped the beat.
You're not a fair
I
weather
just
fan.
had to egg you
but
on.
what I
I'm just
will
kidding.
say is,
I had to egg you on.
I can't look at everything and say year by year I'm just going to discount everything I've seen.
No, I'm not
before.
saying that. I have my, but this whole Howie thing, I came from it. Well, we were in season last year, and I was saying, okay, we could trade for this player, that player, this player. But I said no. How the draft? I was like, we can't fucking draft. He can't until he proves me right.
No, I don't disagree with you on that.
Okay,
That's
so
where
the-
I. That's
So
where I kind of.
how you said this year for you with Howie is kind of it. I'm already like halfway out the door.
This is what I will say about Howie. I pray. I'm not confident in it, but I pray that he can figure the draft out, because if he
That's
can,
true, by the way.
If he can ever,
I was at one point.
if he can ever figure the draft out, with the way that he can work the finances, is unlike anybody I've ever seen.
Oh yeah.
And I don't think you want to lose that. So to me, it's like either he has to figure the draft out this year, or starting next season, some kind of a consultant or whatever, somebody has to come in to be the Italian evaluator for the draft. Because if he fudges it up again this year,
Yeah, it's bad.
when you make a bold statement
That you want to
that
build.
you're going to build through the draft,
Yeah,
if it falls flat on its face,
not a good look at all.
not a good look. And I don't want to lose him, though. I don't want to say, hey, he's on a hot seat if he
But
doesn't.
something has to change. Yeah.
Something in the personnel decision-making needs to change. He's got to bring some – they're fucking creating positions already anyway. Create another position in the front office that somebody is specifically the scouting, whatever, coordinator. They already have positions like that. But come up with an extra special one.
Yeah.
One with a crown. I don't know.
Yeah.
Give them an incentive to
One
do
with
it.
the crowd.
But give them something. But you
I
have
hear
to
you.
have somebody who knows how to evaluate talent and can be the decision maker or the strongest voice for the draft.
Yeah, I agree. It's very important. He's got
Like Howie's not by any means is on a hot seat for me.
No, he's not.
There's people who want to say if he
Yeah,
messes up this year, he might be on a hot seat. The Super Bowl won him time, and the way you can't replace that ability to work the finances. And I don't ever see him taking like a demotion to just focus on that. And so if
he's too vested in
if
it
this
now.
doesn't work, he's gone. Somebody else is going to get that because he's going to be snagged up. I don't want to lose that, but he has to figure the draft out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Guys, good stuff this week. Appreciate you, as always. Thank you to our sponsors, to our doctor. He's the man over at Specialized Physical Therapy, Dr. Paul Vidal. Check him out, specializedphysicaltherapy.com. Obviously.
And you got Ambuck Cleaning Services, gutters, anything that you need, you reach out to Ambuck. You talk to Michael Ambrose, mention A2D, you get 10% off.
That's right, man. Trees, trimming, all kinds. They do everything, too.
Shrubbery.
So, like, if you need to get a lot done, that 10% can go a long way.
Yeah.
So definitely check them out. And obviously, QB54, best tailgating game in the business. Check them out. PlayQB54.com. Promo code No Notes gets you 20% off. Check it out. For Chrome, Chucks, Kevin, Pete, that
Free
schmuck
agency,
over here, Mr.
2 weeks away. Ralphie the Crumb, thank you for joining us, sitting in for Broda while he goes on his
Ones
vacation.
and twos.
good stuff.
BOAF.
Also, wait, guys, we appreciate all your feedback. Check us
Yes.
out. If you couldn't hear our whole thing, go back, check out the podcast forums. We're all over the place. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Spreaker, SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts or iTunes, and Google Play. For us, until next week, we're going to bring something special to you. Have a good week.